Hi, everybody. I thought we'd start off with the old theme song and a couple of thundercracks just for the Horde of Keepers, because I already here. So, hang on, I had technical difficulties. I've got the YouTube up on another screen. I got a whole new setup, you guys. The technical stuff doesn't matter, but I got the YouTube up on another screen so that I can monitor the chat, and I got to make sure that I'm not playing in my own ears. So I think we're good now. Okay, so we got a bunch of people in already. Hi, everybody. Let me see. So I'm gonna we got a bunch of Horde Keepers in right now, as well as a bunch of other people. Thanks for joining me, you guys. This is for those of us in the United States, this is the day before Thanksgiving. A lot of people are cooking food, turkey, I would imagine, and other stuff. Thanks, Fizzy. Audio's good. That's great. Good. All right. So we're gonna have a nice evening with snakes and scotch. Speaking of scotch, let me tell you that this Glenmorangie is a scotch that this is a fine scotch that is not very expensive. You can get it at just about any store, and it's one that I suggest to people who don't normally drink scotch. It's not going to change your life, but it's also probably not going to be offensive. It's a nice scotch. It's not what I'm drinking. It just happens to be what my snake is in right now. But I thought I would tell you about it. Since Tiger Lily was in it, that's who my snake is right now. I am not drinking Glenmorangie. I am drinking a scotch that would be very offensive to many of you that have not had scotch before or are not used to drinking whiskey. I'm very excited to try this because this is an Ardbeg scotch. Ardbeg is one of my top 2 favorite distilleries, and I love trying anything from them. And I've tried many of their different offerings. This is called Smoke Trails, and you can only get it at a duty-free store. So I got it on my trip to the Dominican Republic. And if you're not if you're not buying from duty free at a airport, you can't get this stuff. So trying it for the first time, cracking this bottle. Ardbeg is the best, you guys. And really, this is I talk about smoky scotch a lot. This is a great example of heavily smoky peated scotch. Tiger Lily's getting away from me. I'm gonna have to chase her down in a minute. Okay. Here we go. That glug glug in the microphone. Unintentional, but it was cool. Okay. Ardbeg Smoke Trails. Oh man. So good. It's smoky and fruity, and it smells like a campfire and bacon all at the same time. Oh man, that's good. It's really good. Okay, so here we go. Let's make sure that I got Tiger Lily here with me, and we're gonna get going. Let's see. So I'm gonna just try to catch up a little bit. Those of you that are first timers, thanks for joining. Glad you're here. Good to see you on here making comments in the chat. You guys jump in the chat and talk to one another. Am I pausing? Are you guys seeing video pausing? Because I just saw it, and that is a internet or system situation. Hang on, I just want to see if anybody replies, because there's a bit of a There's a bit of a delay. Let me know if you're seeing video pausing. Because the audio probably doesn't. Okay. All right. So I am freezing. Gosh, dang it. All right. If it keeps happening, I'm going to unplug and just go off the Wi-Fi and see if that fixes it. But that's really unfortunate if that's happening. Because, yeah. Anyway. All right. Tiger lilies just on the back of my chair now. Okay. So for those of you that are new, just so you know, I will not be able to see most of this chat. In fact, just about all of it, I'm going to miss. So if you have something that you want me to see, super chat it because it'll highlight it. Usually Amy's here with me, or oftentimes Amy's here with me to help me catch those. She's not today, but I will do my best to catch them. So if you have a question about snake husbandry, whatever, just ask it in the chat. And a lot of times the chat will answer. There's a lot of really experienced people in the chat that can answer your question. And if you want me to respond to it, or you have something to say that you want me to see specifically in the moment, super chat it. Also, I will go through and read the entire chat tomorrow. So if you're okay with me just seeing it tomorrow and not being able to respond to it, just do it without the super chat. No problem. So that's it. Well, hi, young lady. Tiger lily right there. Okay. All right. What else do we have? You guys, where's my phone? It's all right. It's over there. I think I'm 500 subscribers away from 100,000 subscribers. Just 500. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed and you want to help be one of the first 100,000 subscribers to my channel, hit subscribe. You guys are considered, look, the first 100K, that's the OG crew, right? That's the, because when this channel is at 7 million, 100,000, you're the first 100K. I don't expect this channel to ever get to 7 million or 1 million even, but I'm really happy about that 100,000 that's coming up. That's cool. Candy's Critters, thanks for the super chat. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's celebrating. Yes. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. It's going to be a good one. There's a question. Hang on. Tiger Lily. She's in my lap now. I kind of want you on camera, That's why I brought you out, so you could be a co-host. So why don't you hang out with me? In fact, you can go up here. Okay. There's another super chat. Not freezing on my TV, but yes, on my iPad. That's interesting because it definitely froze. I saw it freeze a couple times here, and that's happened before, and I looked it up, and it's an internet thing. But I'm supposed to have really fast internet, and I've got it directly plugged in. So I'm not on Wi-Fi right now. So unless there's something going on with Spectrum in the neighborhood, this shouldn't be a problem, but we'll see. All right, so thanks for that super chat, though, Kathy. Appreciate that. Make sure I didn't miss any others right at the beginning. Nope, I didn't. Okay. All right. Oh, you know what I can do? Hang on. I'm going to mute that. Okay. Doesn't make any difference. All right. Hi. So what was I saying? There was something. Now I got Tiger Lily on my hat, which is a little bit distracting for me. Oh, we were talking about 500 subs away. For those of you who don't know, I talked about it in the last live stream, but at the 100,000 mark, we're going to celebrate by doing a 24-hour live stream. So the kinks in this freezing thing better be worked out by then, because I don't want to be dealing with technical issues for 24 hours. But that is the plan. I'm going to have guests both in the green room and on video. Dave Kaufman's going to call in. So there's going to be stuff going on for 24 hours straight. It's going to be ridiculous. But it'll be fun. It's going to start in the morning for me. And so it's going to be like, I'm going to plan it where I'm going to have the whole thing set up at night. I'm going to wake up in the morning at probably like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time, hit live and just start. And we're going to go. I'm going to answer so many questions, probably the same questions hundreds of times. That's okay. And because, people are going to be in and out. If you plan on being with me for the entire 24 hours, let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this after the fact. Let me know if you're going to try to do that. This is going to be on a weekend. So it'll be, for me, it'll start like on a Saturday morning, probably. I'll probably do it on a Saturday. That's not Saturday morning for everyone, but it will be for me. So that's that. That's the idea for that. And a number of surprises. We've got some giveaways, black box cages. Clint at Black Box has already offered to do a cage giveaway, so we'll do that. It's going to be fun the whole way around. Oh, I'm back from the Dominican Republic. Some of you may have seen the video that just came out. That's the first of probably 2 videos. I could actually do 3 videos from the Dominican Republic, but I think I'm going to keep it to 2. The second video is shenanigans and just mainly trouble. There was some trouble that we got into in the Dominican Republic. Several bits of trouble. We survived, but we're going to do some of that. We saw lots of rhino iguanas and Rickard's iguanas, lots of other species of snake that I didn't put in the in this first video. So there's a lot of stuff to show you guys. I'm just going to let Tiger Lily do her thing. She's noticed a new thing that she's never crawled on before. You know what, lady? I don't like it because I don't want you going on the equipment. Oh, this is a problem now. Okay. Hang on. I got that screen so far away. Alan Hicks, thanks for the super chat. Let me know if you have a question or something to go along with that. Sometimes those super chats come in and they're blank. And I think when you do a super chat, like especially if you do it for the first time, it's not always evident where to type the question. Let me see. All right, I'll try to notice it if you write something, but I don't always. So I'll try though. I'll keep looking. So anyway, Dominican Republic was great. We had a wonderful time, even though we got ourselves into trouble a couple times, or I did a couple times. It was a blast, and we found so many animals. And a lot of people are commenting on this first video about how tame the snakes seemed. And they did. Every snake we encountered, even the ones that you haven't seen yet, acted like pet snakes. I mean, some of them wanted to run a little bit, but there were 5 of us in that crew. We were out in the bush every day for a week, catching snakes, handling snakes. Not one of us got bit all week. Like, just it's really amazing how, the Dominican boas, those big ones, you could chalk that up to just not having many predators, especially when they get up to size. They don't have many predators, so it makes sense that they're just like they're not concerned really. But there are other snakes there. There are dwarf species of boas, like not dwarf like you're thinking of locality dwarf, but like small thin vine boas and just green vine snakes and stuff like that also kind of acted like that, not defensive at all. It was pretty interesting. All right, let me see. Hang on. Oh, there's another super chat. Hold on. Oh, is that my? Hang on. That's my new phone ringing that I'm not used to hearing because I never changed the ringtone on it. Why do I have a new phone? because I destroyed my phone in the Dominican Republic. You'll see that in the video. Anyway, okay, so hang on. I want to see Alan's question because I think I just saw. Okay, Alan is saying, "Hey y'all, is this normal?" So maybe he's just asking the chat, but that's okay. I'll read it. My ball python searches for any way to escape her enclosure a lot when our lights are out. Yeah, I mean they're just cruising around their enclosure. You know, they'll push on things and test their limits and stuff like that. That's normal for any snake, and especially if this is a new snake for you and it hasn't settled yet. That's pretty normal behavior. Okay. Katie, thanks for the super chat. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Just saying hi and sending you love. Sad you weren't in STL. I brought home my first lychee, Nuana named Destiny. Oh, nice. Congrats on that. Lychees are so cool. They look like, they remind me of Muppets. Lychees. They're weird. They're so, they have more skin than they need. They're like a Shar-Pei lizard. That's what it is. That's better. That's a better description than a Muppet. They're a Shar-Pei lizard. Really cool. Congrats. Thanks for that super chat. Let's see. Alercy, thanks for the super chat. Not sure if you've done this, but you should make an updated breeding equipment video. Need some better recommendations for the little pied. Breeding equipment. I don't do much as far as breeding videos. Do you mean like incubators, stuff like that? Because there's not really, other than just an incubator. I mean, I guess you have an egg box, incubator, egg box. That's about it as far as equipment, you know. Maybe there's more that I'm not thinking of. But I actually try to stay away from breeding videos. I think there's so much content out there from breeders that have way more experience than I do and breed a lot more each year than I do. So they'll always have more experience, you know. There are people that maybe haven't been breeding as many years as me, but they breed way more clutches. So just from that, they have more experience. So I feel like if people want to learn how to breed, they can get that information from one of those guys. Caitlin, thanks for the super chat. Yes, we can see Freya's babies tonight. I can show you some of Freya's babies. We'll do that. I mean, here's one of Freya's babies right here. Tiger Lily is Freya's, one of Freya's babies. But you're talking about the new babies. So yes, we can do that. I'm going to put this one back because she's a little bit nuts. So let me see if there was anything else before. I'm just going to let her choke me out for a second. Then I'll put her back. Mess up my beard. I think we're about ready to get to the Patreon Q&A questions. So for those who are new, I get questions pre-asked by Patreon, by the Horde of Keepers. And we go through that during the snake. During the live stream. And then I also answer your super chats. And I just saw that one came in, so I'm going to answer that real quick before I put Tiger Lily back. Let's see. Oh, wait, a couple more. So Alercy says, in general, I remember you showing your incubator and your tubs and enclosures and how you had them set up, trying to be a hobbyist with black box. Yes. Okay. So like a baby rack with shoebox tubs. Black box has actually a really cool rack right now that I don't have one, but it's one that's expandable, so you can have all kinds of different size tubs in there as the babies grow. And a tub, you know, a shoebox tub works well for a new baby, and I think it's good to, as they grow, to get them into bigger cages if you can, you know. But I think I'm saying that because I see a lot of breeders keeping their young ones in shoe boxes for longer than they should. Like they should upgrade them quicker than, you know, a new baby ball python will outgrow a tub fairly quickly. Okay. I got to get used to looking at these. Sandra, thanks for the super chat. Thank you for giving advice to comments on your videos. I got a baby ball python because of you. Oh, that's cool. Congrats. She's a bamboo clown named Dune, and she's a sweet girl who just took her first meal thanks to your vids. Thankful for you. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that, congrats on that snake, and I'm glad that things are working out. Yeah, I mean, I try to respond to as many comments as I can on the videos. I used to be able to respond to every single comment, and I did that for a long time, and I just can't do it as much anymore. So I respond to as many as I can. And then a lot of them I just don't see anymore. But if people ask a question, especially on the first day that a video comes out, I respond to every comment on the first day. So, and then I try to get to other comments randomly on like older videos and stuff like that if I can. But if I responded to everybody, I'd be spending the whole day responding to stuff. So I try, though. I do my best, and I feel bad that I can't respond to everybody. Let's see. Siri, thanks for the super chat. That's such a long name, and I'm just going to stop it at Siri because I think I can at least pronounce that part of it. Siri says, yes, I watched you and took notes 3 ball pythons later. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Congrats on those snakes. I'm glad that some of you are finding these videos helpful. All right, I'm going to put Tiger Lily back. The smoke trails. So good. All right, here we go. I'm unplugging this so I can walk, taking her box and putting her back real quick. And you know what? While I'm over here, I'll grab one of those babies. So Tiger Lily is, dang, she's probably almost 4 years old. And she's a baby of Freya's. She was from the first clutch. And then here is for those of you who know about, you know, Freya just maternally incubated her clutch, and I marked one of the eggs. And the idea was that I'm going to follow the snake that comes out of that egg from hatching all the way through to when I send it off to someone. And it's this little snake who usually isn't in a ball. There we go. Her name, I just named her Xena because, you know, I usually don't give them a name if they're going to go to somebody else, but we're following this snake for a video. So I gave her a name. Her name's Xena because she had an X. She, you know, I put an X on the egg. And she is the craziest looking one in the clutch, because why does she look like a freeway or highway? I mean, she doesn't really, but she's got this stripe down her back. What is going on with that? So here's what I've decided she is. And I think I'm basically right, but I still don't have an answer for this stripe, except Extreme Gene sometimes does stripy stuff, but this is a solid, like it's only broken at her neck right there. But otherwise, it's a solid stripe all the way down. So I think she's Extreme Gene. She's Orange Dream, not Super Orange Dream, because I think she'd be brighter. She's Orange Dream, Calico, Pastel, Extreme Gene. What else? She's not, I don't think she's Fire. She's not Banana. That was another one in the option. Yeah, I think it's just those. I think it's those. Oh, Enchi. And yeah. Enchi, Orange Dream, Calico, Extreme Gene, Pastel. I think that's what we're looking at. I think But nobody else has. I have others that I think are extreme gene. Nobody has this stripe down their back. It's just crazy. So anyway, I like her a lot. She's cool. Okay, let me get to these super chats. And then we haven't even started our questions yet. Hang on. Okay, Siri, thanks for these. You've got several. Okay, so two more from Siri and one from Katie. Oh wait, no, I got that one. One more from Siri. Close to the fourth, meaning you're going to get a fourth. I mean, usually when people have 3 ball pythons, there's going to be a fourth. It's coming, and it's not going to take long. It won't be years. You know, it's like weeks, maybe. Good. Congrats on that. Katie, thanks for the super chat. Because you're famous now and loved by so many. That's very nice. I'm guessing that you said that when I was talking about how I can't respond to all the comments anymore. I wouldn't say I never think that I'm famous, because this reptile loving group of people is really a small group, in the entire scheme of things. But if I go to a reptile show, you guys make me feel famous, because people come up and they want to take a photo and stuff like that. And that's really nice. I like it. Okay, Zachary, thanks for the super chat. Thanks for all you do. I'm obsessed with your videos now. Either Douglas, I think, or one of your other snakes has an enclosure on the ceiling. Oh, did you? You mean hide, not an enclosure, but a hide on the ceiling. Did you ask this question? That question is on my list to answer, but I'll answer it right now. Yes, most of my snakes have sky hides. We call them, I call them sky hides because it's just a hide on the ceiling of the cage. You might be able to see. Yeah, you can see this one right there. That's Maya's sky hide, and all that is a you can see the other ones too. They're on these cages. You can see Stella's right there. All a sky hide is a bracket that you get from I get them from Reptile Basics, but there's a couple places that just sell brackets. The brackets is a little square thing, and it screws into the top of your cage, and then you get just a normal black plastic hide, snake hide, and it slides in. They just slide in and out. So you can get them for different sizes, for different size regular. When I say, I don't know what the brand is. What is there a brand for those black hides? I get those at Reptile Basics too, but it's the ones where you can get a pile of them, that kind of everybody has. So they slide into those brackets, and that is how you do a sky hide. It's real easy. Okay, Katie, thanks for the super chat. Katie says, okay, fine, be technical, famous in the reptile world. That's funny. All right, putting this snake back. Hold on one second. I'll show you, actually, since I'm here, I'm just going to show you real quick. Here's one that also has low patterning. It's also a calico, but super orange dream and Enchi. Super orange dream, Enchi calico. And I don't know if it's extreme gene or not, but it doesn't have that stripe. So anyway, pretty snakes. And there's a couple bananas in the clutch also. The bananas turned out really cool. Hold on one second. Let's see if I open Stella's cage, if she'll come out. Okay, and then I'm going to do something here. I'm going to change something. Hang on. Okay. Well, that's not cool. Hang on. All right. Okay. What I'm realizing is that, hang on. Okay, we're back to that camera. This thing is, this program is trying to record, and I think that is taking, I think that's what's screwing things up a little bit. And also, if you guys don't mind if I just try to fix some stuff here. All right. Oh my gosh. This is so silly, you guys. Okay. So this, you know, this thing paused a couple times in the very beginning, and then it didn't for a while, and now I'm seeing that it is again. And I don't know if there's anything that I can do to stop it from doing that. Because I don't think I can stop this thing from recording. It's what it's trying to do is record and upload a file, and I don't need that. I just want to live stream on YouTube. You know, we don't need to use all the computer's resources to record also. Anyway, you don't need to know the technical stuff, but that's what's happening. And we might get a few pauses occasionally, just like that, through this live stream. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks for being patient with it. All right, now I can see this better. We're getting this figured out. Okay. All right, let me get to some of these. I appreciate you guys super chatting, so that I notice your questions that you want me to answer or your comments. But let me get to some of these Patreon ones. So starting with Aaron. Aaron says, Nix that I got from you is 9 months old. She only weighs 398 grams. Is this anything to worry about? My other ball python is a year old and is 708 grams. She eats weekly, and I just bumped her up to jumbo mice. She acts funny with rats, but she was getting a weaned rat or a large mouse. I was also scared to give her huge meals. I try to stick with the 10% of the feeder. Should I maybe shoot for 15%? So we talked about this a little bit on Patreon when she asked the question. But yeah, I mean, it's totally fine to slow grow a snake, and 398 grams is fine for 9 months old. That's not that big of a deal. But that being said, you definitely can give your snake larger meals than that. You know, they can definitely take 15% if you want. But again, you know, there's slow growing, and then there's not feeding enough. And it sounds like you're feeding her enough. You're just slow growing her, and that's a healthy thing to do. You know, but it is common. I'm actually making a video right now where I'm addressing this. It is common to for new keepers to be afraid to feed their snake a larger meal because they think that they'll choke on it or something. I hear that a lot, that they're afraid that they're going to choke on it. And snakes' physiology just isn't. They're designed to have their heads and necks stretch. They just don't choke on food, you know. So they're designed to take in large meals. And in the wild, they take what they can get. They're not measuring or weighing their prey. They're just grabbing whatever they can grab. Sometimes it's a little tiny meal and then they go try to find another one. And sometimes it's a great big meal that takes them a while to eat and takes them a while to digest, you know. So they're just designed for that. Okay, Kathy is saying that I'm freezing on her TV too. Yeah, I figured it was probably freezing for everybody, because if it is for me, it's probably going to do that a little bit. I will try to fix that before the next live stream. Clint at Black Box is in. Hi, Clint. Good to see you. Another thing about this live stream setup, you guys, for those of you who are normally used to seeing me in the live streams, is I can't highlight your. Well, actually, I can on. Hang on. Yeah, I can't highlight all the comments. The super chat specifically, I can't highlight. So that's why I'm looking at them here, because they don't show them to me on my program. This program is great for a number of things, but it's lacking with a few things also. So I just have to figure some stuff out. Anyway, if anyone cage questions, Clint is here right now, and you can ask him. So that's that. Okay. So yeah, Aaron, I think that you're feeding Nick's a fine amount. You could definitely bump up the prey size, and I would get her used to eating rats all the time. I mean, I think when I sent her to you, she was on just rat pups. She would love to eat a mouse, but eventually she's going to outgrow them, and you're going to end up, you know, if she decides that she wants to only eat mice, then you're going to be stuck feeding her multiple jumbo mice to give her enough food, you know. So even though she prefers mice, it's better that she eats rats and just gets used to that. Okay, Damien asks, I'm curious to know if there's still a white-lipped python in your future. Yeah, possibly. I love white-lipped pythons. I think they're really cool. I talked my buddy Willie into getting a white-lipped python because I knew I could go over to his house and hang out with that snake. So I like them. I don't plan on getting one like anytime soon, but you never know. Elijah, thanks for the super chat. I'm having some stuck shed problems with my super dwarf retic. Got any tips? Also, can we get Dave out soon? I can try to get Dave out. Dave is tricky. Thanks for that super chat. Yes, you know, as far as stuck shed, an easy thing to do, especially with a baby, is to put them in a damp towel and let them just sit in a damp towel for like 20 minutes, something like that, and then you can work the shed off with the towel, you know. So that, and then, you know, humid hides work as well, but if you're just trying to help them get it off, just holding them in a towel like that works really well, as long as it's not a huge super dwarf retic, you know. So I mean, I'm just going to try to ignore it because there's not much that I can do. This thing is telling me the device is struggling. I wish I could just stop it trying to record. I just don't want it to. Hang on. Let me just give me a moment to see if I can look this up. Hang on a second. Because it's better to just take a moment to try and fix it than, let's see. Okay. We're almost, yeah, I can't stop the record. Okay. All right. No, I get it. Hang on. No, I think I can't stop it. Hang on. I'm not, if this is going to stop the stream, I'm not even going to try if it looks like it's going to stop the stream, but let me see if I can. Yeah, it's telling me to click the record button, and that's my problem. I don't have a record button. All right, so we may just have to deal with the pausing occasionally, and I may have to look into this and fix it later. Sorry about this, you guys. Yeah, there's just not. What if I? Nope, can't do that either. Okay. From what I can tell in this short moment of trying to fix this, I can't do it. Sorry. So my guess is, somebody confirm this. My guess is that the audio still comes through even if I pause for a moment. I think the audio is probably still good. This is just a visual thing. The system is being taxed because it's trying to record and live stream at the same time. All right. I hate technical stuff. I'm going to stop talking about it, and we're just going to power through, and I'm going to answer questions. What was I even talking about? Hang on. Was there a super chat that I was? Oh, we were talking about stuck sheds. Okay, we got that. And then we're going to try to get Dave out as a bit. We'll just try. Do you guys want to see Dave? Audio is great. Thank you. Thanks, Zach. Would you guys like to see me struggle to get Dave out? I would imagine many of you would. Okay, we're going to do that. I'm going to answer one more question, then I'm going to grab Dave. Crisis Corp says, what are your holiday plans? Going to see family? I am going to see family for Christmas. Tomorrow's plans, I'm heading out to Malibu to go visit Willie and Tara. Willie of Willie's Reptiles, and Tara, who's been on the channel before. Going out there to eat food and hang out with them, and probably a bunch of other people. All right, you guys want to see Dave? Okay, here we go. Let's see how this goes. What's the better camera for this? This one is. Okay. Here we go. So I'm gonna grab a hook. So Dave, the thing with Dave is he's a very shy snake, and he's also super food motivated. So we want to make sure that he doesn't think he's being fed, because he was just recently fed. I'm gonna close Stella's cage. She's not coming out. That little experiment didn't work. Dave is behind a hide. He also, one thing about this guy is that every time he poops, he spreads it everywhere. And I think this is a main reason that Garrett wanted to send him to me. Hang on. I know you're getting pausing. We will, I'll definitely hang on to him long enough for you guys to get a view of him while the thing doesn't pause. So here's Dave. He's wily. I knew that was going to happen. He's wily and he's quick, and he would rather not. So I'm working with him a little bit. What I was going to say is he would rather not hang out with humans. And I get that. I'm working with him a little bit, and I'm target training him because he just hasn't been worked with a lot, He's used to not being messed with, and I get it. The thing is, though, once we get deep into breeding season with him, I'm not going to be able to work with him as much because he definitely won't like me. Reticulated pythons have this weird thing that they can tell males from females in humans, and they're okay with females during breeding season. Males are, but they look at male humans as rivals. So that's that'll be interesting. Okay. Aaron, I just saw Aaron's question. Why did Willie stop making videos? He will be back to making videos. He just launched a production company with Ron Perlman, and so that's been a big. They just launched it a couple weeks ago, and they're I think they're starting their first film. Hey, buddy, you're okay. Just relax. So he's been real busy with that kind of stuff, with actual stuff that makes him money, and he wants to be making videos, but he just hasn't had the time. So he'll get back to it. Obviously, for those of you who watch his stuff, he's very good at it. He's really good at content creation, and he likes doing it. So he will he'll be back to it. Dave is doing his best job of getting tangled in my chair. Hey, pal. Okay, you know what? We're not going to hang on to you for very long. Just for a minute so people can see how handsome you are. You're so handsome. So I want him to get a little bit more used to people handling him. He's in a bioactive cage for the first time. I don't think he's ever been in something like that. Garrett had him in a cage, and but it wasn't bioactive. So that's new for him. He's got his favorite hiding spots in the cage, and that's not going to be good for my hat. All right, I'm putting him back. This is it for Dave. Okay. All right, pal. I know. Okay, I know. You're anxious. Your hide back. He doesn't go into his hide. I've never seen him in his hide. He's always just behind it. There you go. Oh my gosh. That snake is crazy. All right. One moment. Okay. So I think he feels comfortable in his cage because he's got great hiding spots, and I don't mess with him much. I'm not pulling him out every day or anything like that. And I think he feels well hidden, just kind of hunkered in the dirt behind his cage. Okay. Make sure I haven't missed anything while I was struggling with that snake. All right, here we go. Next question from Candy's Critters. Anything happening with snake spies? I know you guys are all super busy, but I hope there's at least some brainstorming going on. Yes, there is. Speaking of Tara and Willie, yes, every time we get together, we talk a little bit about snake spies and or spy snakes or whatever we're going to call it. And there is brainstorming going on. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow. Although a bunch of other people will be there, so we probably won't talk much about it. But the idea last time was that we were going to have Danny from Love on the Spectrum do some test drawings for us, and we were going to sort of work off those. So I haven't seen any yet, so I don't know. But yeah, the talk is at least happening. But these things are slow. They happen very slow. but we're going to try and get something produced, at least even if it's just something that we put online, you know, because it would be fun. Okay. Okay, so Jules says this is a longer one. I cut a lot of these down. This one I didn't cut as much. Let me see. Jules says, I took over care for a male ball python who's 4 years old. Oh, this is why. I remember this one. Snake is 4 years old. He weighs 275 grams. Oh my gosh. Jules took over care for the snake in July of this year. He was only eating pinkies once a month. Oh my gosh, you guys. Can you imagine? He was only eating pinkies once a month, but I graduated him up over the course of a month in frequency, then size of rats with no issues. And he's been taking pups once a week for 3 months. And I'll be starting to give him weaned rats this week. He has 2 complete sheds and currently appears to be in shed again. He's gained 101 grams as of 10/29. This is great. I love this. This is all great. Given he's so small for his age, is there a healthy growth rate to be mindful of? Is he on a good track at the rate he's going? And can I expect him to reach an appropriate size, or could he potentially be stunted after being underfed for so long? So all good questions. First of all, I just want to say this is for anyone who is in this situation where they end up with a snake that's been way underfed. There's this idea that you've got to slowly ramp them up to an appropriate size meal. You don't. You can just give them whatever they should be eating. You can just give them one, and then the next week you can give them another one. Like no need to ramp it up. The problem is that snake only had those pinkies available once a month. Was living in a environment where there was almost no food available for that snake. Once food becomes available, let's say in the wild, all of a sudden there are more rats for some reason. They'll just grab whatever they can eat, So, but you're doing great. And yeah, several sheds later and 101 grams later, doing really well. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't think that the snake will be stunted. They might end up being a little bit smaller, but you can just feed them as though they're a baby snake. They're on rat pups, and then they're on weaned rats, and then they're on smalls. They'll just keep growing, and they'll eventually catch up. Will they be genetically as large as they would have been had they been fed properly in the beginning? It's hard to say. But I think it'll be a relatively normal sized snake. I will say that for females, that affects their breeding, their ability to breed later, if they don't have enough food and they grow at too slow a pace, But yeah, that's a bummer. That poor snake. I'm so glad that you have the snake and you're getting him on track. That's really cool. Right, let me check this real quick. I think we're good there. Okay. Great. Captain Dummy Talk says, when will your podcast be released? Since it's not reptile related, will it be on a second channel? Yes, it will be on a second channel. Hang on. I'm going to answer this in a second. Okay, good. All right. I was just checking. More technical stuff. Sorry. So, yes, what's the name of the new channel specifically? That's, I know how to find out. Yeah. So, you guys, I'm launching a new podcast, and it's happening relatively soon, but I'm trying to record at least 3, maybe 4 episodes before I launch it, so I can put them all up at once, so people have several episodes to listen to, and then it will be weekly. The podcast is called Aliens Are Behind Everything and Other Probably True Nonsense. So this is about all kinds of crazy mysteries that people believe might be true. So it's aliens, it's cryptids, paranormal stuff, government cover-up stuff. Not so much conspiracy theories, but things that in the past the government has covered up for some reason. Lost civilizations that we're finding evidence for, stuff like that. It's the kind of content that I like to consume when I'm driving long distances, and I think that I can tell these stories and put a little different spin on it that people might enjoy. I hope they enjoy. So the channel is called Aliens Are Behind Everything, just at Aliens Are Behind Everything, and I will be filming it and putting it on YouTube, but it's also a podcast, so the audio will be on Apple and Spotify and everywhere else. But I can't give you a launch date yet because I don't know, but soon. I've got one episode recorded so far. I was trying to record another one in the Dominican Republic because I thought it would be cool if I had the forest, the sort of jungle of that area as a background for this episode. And as soon as I set up the equipment and was about to hit record, I had been standing in the same spot for several minutes and the mosquitoes just descended. And I had really good repellent on, but so they wouldn't land on me, but just this constant of mosquitoes. And it was clear that I was not going to be able to record. So I'll do that one from the studio. So anyway, this whole setup where I have new technology, and I realized that it sucks that I have really cool new technology, but because of the system trying to record this, we're getting pausing. But the reason I have all this new technology is for the podcast, but it also ups the level of my live streams as long as I can work out the bugs. So it's cool. And basically I can just slide this entire desk with all my gear and all my stuff that, I've got thunder cracks and I've got all kinds of silly things that I can play with sound wise, and then I can switch. I only have 2 cameras right now. Oh, there goes a pause. Sorry about that. I only have 2 cameras right now, but I can have up to 4. And so it's gonna get even better in the future because the bugs will be worked out and we'll have more cameras and it'll be great. I'm excited about it. And I'm excited about the podcast. I think it's going to be fun to tell these stories and try to put my spin on them. So that's that. Okay. Brian says, I noticed that my boa is almost never in a hide, which I, of course, love since I see him a lot. Do you think that's common with a boa or just his personality? Maybe a little bit of both. I only have one boa that I can, I don't have a large sample size, but I can tell you that my boa spends a lot of time not in a hide. And he spends a lot of time in a hide. He's been in his sky hide for the last 3 days and he's not in shed. But normally he's just out during the day and sleeping, but just sitting out. If he's up there, which he often is, he sometimes chooses to be in a hide and sometimes not. Sometimes he's totally fine being completely spread out and going to sleep like that. So I think boas are less, ball pythons always want to hide. It seems like boas not as much. So, and you'll probably find that your snake goes back and forth between being in a hide for a period of time and then he might spend some time, a few months or something where he doesn't want the hide so much. So, okay. Caitlin's asking if I have fart noises and boings. I don't have, I really should. What I should do is set this sound thing up so that it's, it's like a morning radio show, just wacky. I have stuff like this that was preloaded in. So that kind of stuff I could totally, if I tell a bad joke or something like that, or actually bad joke, that one. These are ones that I never use. They're just preloaded. Okay. Anyway, yeah, my podcast could be just like a morning zoo radio show where it's just bad, terrible jokes and fart noises. Back to Chang. Thanks for the super chats. We have the sweetest juvenile banana pied ball python. She's around 18 inches long, super easy and great eater. Oh, sorry. Hang on, guys. Do you think snakes actually have personalities? Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's not a like opinion or guess. It's just anyone who has multiple snakes knows that their snake has different personalities, just like any animal does. I hope you're hearing my audio just fine right now. Pretty much any animal, any group of animals, you're never going to find an animal where all of them act the same, and this thing about reptiles having personalities and people kind of wondering if they do or not, it comes from this idea that reptiles just have the reptilian brain and they only go off of instinct, and there's no thought behind what they do. But that's not true at all. That's, they do have good instinct, but they also think and they problem solve, and there's all kinds of personality with them. So if you see my videos of my snakes free roaming, you'll see a lot of, for people that have followed my channel for a long time, they know the personalities of my different snakes because they show it all the time, on camera, off camera. Definitely personalities. Okay, and I think we're done with that group of pauses. Again, apologies, everybody. HK Creations, thanks for the super chat. We only follow 3 genres: reptiles, aliens, and paranormal, supernatural. And you do 2 of the 3. That's awesome. Super excited. Can't wait. Oh, that's great. Well, actually, I would say that I do all of them, because the channel, even though it's aliens are behind everything, it's not just aliens. The idea is that aliens are pulling the strings behind everything, and we can attribute anything to aliens. Anything that we can't explain, we can attribute to aliens, kind of as a joke. But I am gonna do a lot of paranormal, supernatural type episodes. Just anything that's kind of unexplainable. I also like the idea of that title, because it's the original idea was that aliens are pulling the strings behind everything, government and everything. It's all aliens are behind it all. But it also could mean that literally aliens are behind everything. So, like, if you look behind your refrigerator, there might be an alien there. So I think that there could be some good merch that comes out of that. If people like the podcast enough that I have merch, it might be fun to have aliens peeking around from behind things, I think. So I thank you, though, for those of you that are excited about the podcast and think it's a good idea. I really appreciate that, because it's nice when you're working really hard to launch something that you don't know if people are going to be into or not. It's nice to have the support. So thanks for that. Thanks for your kind words about that. Okay. Where are we at here? Christina asks, how is the pairing of Dave and Echo going? What was Echo's reaction to her boyfriend when you put him in there? So I have paired Dave and Echo one time. These are, for those who don't know, these are my super dwarf reticulated pythons. Dave is the big white snake that I just had out. I have him on loan from Garrett. He belongs to Garrett Hartle of Reach Out Reptiles. And I have paired them once. I'm pairing them every time Echo sheds. And she shed right before I left for the Dominican Republic. So I put them in as soon as I got back, put them together. There was no reaction at all. I was really surprised. I thought there would probably be a negative reaction on Echo's part. I thought she would start freaking out. She completely ignored him. He completely ignored her. So that tells me that she's not ready. Like she wasn't putting off any pheromones that got him excited at all. And that's okay. I mean, I'm just going to put him in every time she sheds. Eventually she will be ready and she will be putting off those pheromones. But I thought it was interesting that there wasn't even a negative reaction. It was just, they both met. I saw them meet and kind of be a little bit startled by one another. But as soon as that happened, then they were just off on their own, and I left them in overnight, and they just both went to the opposite ends of the cage and ignored each other. It was very silly. So, but I guess I'm glad that it wasn't like a stressful experience for Echo. I wanted them to at least get to know each other, to be like, hey, here's a snake that exists in the room that you might see occasionally. Hang out with him for a little while, you know. The only other snake that Echo knows is Stella. She's never met any of the other snakes in the room. So for her, even though I'm sure that she can tell, they probably put off pheromones that I can't smell, you know, but I'm sure that she can tell that there are other snakes around, but she's never physically met any of the other snakes except for Stella. And so this was her first time meeting someone that's not Stella. Okay. Tyler asks, how is Handsome Dan? Is care for him any different now that he's a bit older? Has his behavior changed at all? Do you have any plans to make any more videos on him in the future? I recently got a boa as a result of watching your videos about him. Yeah, I'll probably do more Handsome Dan videos in the future. You know, I got lights going off already. Man, at 6, really? It's so early. Let's see, what's different about as he's gotten older. I've been bit by him several times now, just because I get in his way when he kind of does the thing that Echo does. He posts up and he's either sleeping or he's not. And if he's not, he's waiting for food. And if I get too close, he'll strike. So that's something that he didn't do when he was younger. It's something Echo did when she was younger, and she still does. But that's really about it. You know, he's I'm trying to think of what's different about him. I feed him every 3 weeks. I could go every 2 weeks, but I think I was feeding him a bit much for a while. He never got fat, but he grew fast. So I give him either a small or medium rat every 3 weeks, and it just depends on his body condition whether he gets a small or a medium. Sometimes a quail. I give him quails too, and that's about it. They're pretty easy. I'll probably do more videos about Handsome Dan though. He seems to be happy in his bioactive. Let me make sure I haven't missed anything from the chat. There we go. Okay, great. All right. Medusa's Garden Reptiles has several questions. Here we go. First one is, hey, Bob. In some of your videos, it looks like a lot of your enclosures are from Black Box. And if memory serves, I think Douglas might have an enclosure mounted to the ceiling. Okay, this is the one that we already answered. Yes, these are all Black Box cages. And most of them have the ceiling hides. Did you do a modification for that to work? I like the idea when like a semi-arboreal friends. Yes, so it's just like we talked about before, it's just that bracket that you get from Reptile Basics or many other places. It's a 3D printed bracket, and then the hide slides onto there. You screw the bracket into the ceiling. It's super easy. And once that bracket's in, your hide slides in and out. So that's that one. And then more boa care questions. What are your recommendations on care for a true red tail boa? So this would be like a Suriname or a Guyana red tail. I've watched previous videos of yours regarding boa care, but if I remember it correctly, it was stated that there's different care for true red tails. Can you explain what you meant? I have a 2023 red tail, and since watching that video, I'm concerned I may have things wrong for him. Yeah, so it's not much different, because your humidity is about the same from Central America to South America. The difference here is that the boa constrictors, so we're talking boa constrictor versus boa constrictor imperator. The boa constrictors, which is what you have, are more finicky with regard to uh, errors like husbandry issues. If it gets too dry, stuff like that, they're more susceptible to maybe an RI, stuff like that. So you just have to be on top of their humidity and keep them between, I don't know, 70-80%, something like that. Would be fine, but you don't want to let them go too far down under that. And also feeding, they're more touchy with regard to food, so you want to feed them smaller meals, maybe a little more often, but you don't want to give them large meals like some people do with their boas. I mean, I keep Handsome Dan to smaller meals also, and he's a BCI. So it's not that the care is different. It's just that they're touchier, and you've got to be more careful with them, making sure that you're checking their humidity and stuff like that. But your snake is not a baby. It's not like it's a baby red tail or a baby rainbow boa, where if the humidity dips down for a day, all of a sudden they start to die. That's an exaggeration, but it's kind of not. So your red tail boa is not going to do that, but they're just touchier than a BCI. So that's all. The care is basically the same though. Christina, thanks for the super chat. I hope sparks between them fly soon. She's talking about Echo and Dave. I'm glad she didn't freak out. Thanks, Christina. Yeah, I hope sparks fly also. From what Garrett tells me, reticulated pythons are, I mean, this is kind of the thing for all snakes. The females are ready to go at some point during the year. And once you know when that is, it's usually the same each year for the snakes. This is the same with ball pythons. But when it's their first time breeding, you don't know when it is that they're going to be ready to go. And so you just pair them every time she sheds. I'll pair them, and at some point she'll be ready, and hopefully I think sparks will fly at that point. But this first introduction, nothing. Okay, last question from Medusa's Garden Reptiles. They ask, are there nutritional differences between rats versus mice? Differences other than weight and size? And then Elena Rhodes also asked, is there a pros and cons of mice versus rats for feeding? Yes, there are differences, and I actually looked it up because I hadn't looked at it for a while, but and I'm going to tell you what they are as soon as I sent it to myself. I'm going to tell you what it is, but the point is it doesn't matter. Like it's not important. Here it is. It's not important. Okay, so an adult mouse has 55.8% protein. An adult rat has 61.8% protein. An adult mouse has 23.6% fat. An adult rat has 32.6% fat, which is interesting. I thought mice had a little bit more fat than rats. But the point is, we're not raising Olympic athletes. It's a snake, and give them what they like to eat. I always say that if you have a ball python, you want to try to get them on rats, because economically that's going to be better for you. You're going to spend less time feeding, and you'll spend less money. It's a lot cheaper to buy one medium rat than 2 or 3 jumbo mice. And also for my 2 snakes who are mousers, and I feed them 2 to 3 jumbo mice each time, it takes longer to feed because I have to wait for them to eat the first one. That takes a little while. Then I feed them the second one. Then if I'm feeding them 3, I give them the third one. It just takes longer. But again, not that big of a deal. Tiger Lily and Lucille want to eat mice, so I let them eat mice. I try not to pressure them. There's usually one time a year where Lucille will eat rats, where she's just ravenous and she'll eat anything, and I try to feed her rats then. But it doesn't really matter. So as far as so those are the differences. They don't matter. As far as the pros and cons, I kind of covered that a little bit. The pro of feeding mice is that generally ball pythons like mice better than rats. So if you have a snake that's a very picky eater, and refusing rats quite a bit, try to feed them mice and see what happens. So that's the one pro for mice. The con is that they eventually outgrow them. So you end up having to feed more. So, and that's a pretty big con. I mean, I think it's so much easier to get them on rats. And then there's really no con as far as rats go. Oh, there's also this other thing. I talked about this in a video fairly recently, that there is kind of a pro to feeding younger snakes when they're eating the small rodents. You know, if you have a mouse that is this big, oh shoot, I'm pausing again. If you have a mouse that's like this big, that's going to be weaned off of milk and already eating food and have bones and stuff. Whereas a rat this big doesn't have any bones, or I mean, maybe they sort of do, but they're not developed well. And they have a gut load of milk instead of food. And so it's better to give the mouse because of that. But again, it's not a huge difference. And for me, I like to get my snakes on rats, so they're used to eating rats. So I don't mind giving them a rat pup, which is gut loaded with milk. Okay. So there's pros and cons. Rats are better for ball pythons, but if we're and actually I'm in the middle of writing this video where I'm going to be talking about feeding a lot, so it's on my mind. For many other species of snake, it doesn't matter as much, because ball pythons are the ones that are fairly picky. So you want to get them on rats so that they're used to eating rats and they get good at it. But with other snakes that'll just take anything you give them, it's good to vary their diets and give them different things, because they're less likely to get stuck on something. They're less likely to just start refusing, like some ball pythons do. Not all, not even most ball pythons, but some do. Enough to where it's something you got to look out for. Okay, let me look at my. Oh, I got some super chats. Medusa's Garden Reptiles, thanks for the super chat. That's just a thank you super chat. I appreciate it. Thanks for that. That's really nice. Katie, thanks for the super chat. Gorgeous George has been refusing food. Gorgeous George is Katie's boa. No changes in the room. Time of year. My king and hog stop eating this time of year. So I wondered, it's hard to say. Boas typically don't refuse food. And so if Handsome Dan started refusing food, I would be a little bit concerned. I don't want to be an alarmist, but boas usually don't go off food. If somebody has more experience with boas than me and you disagree with what I'm saying, put it in the chat. But for me, if Handsome Dan refused a meal, I'd be like, okay, what's wrong with this snake? So you might try other, sometimes they're a little bit picky with food, that you might try a different prey item. If you feed them rats, usually maybe feed them a mouse or a quail or something, give them something different. Because it might just be something like that. Because boas usually eat really well, and they usually will take just about everything. So keep me posted on that, though. Paul Seibel asks, what is your favorite non-reptile related vacation of all time? I would say it would be family trips, either when I was a kid and went camping with my parents, or when I was a parent and took my kids camping. We would do these camping trips with the twins and Brandon, and it was just the guys, and we'd go out in the forest and pitch a tent and just have a blast. It was super fun. Go fishing, stuff like that. Those kind of trips were very fun. I wasn't doing out of the country trips until I started this channel. I pretty much most trips that I did were work related stuff. Like there was one I've talked about it in live streams before. There was a trip to the Bahamas because we were filming a movie, and that was super fun. Seemed like a vacation, but technically it was a work trip. So thanks for being patient with the pausing, you guys. Again, apologies. I'm going to try to see what I can do about that. Okay. Casey has a super chat. Let me make sure. Okay, here we go. Casey, thanks for the super chat. Any new hatching coming soon? I joined Patreon to get on the list. Can't wait. Just got a ball python for the first time in 19 years. Oh, that's awesome. Congrats. And thanks for joining Patreon. I hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, it's not that I have a new hatching coming up, but I do have a clutch of 8 babies that I'll be making available in several weeks. I still have 3 of them that haven't taken a meal yet. I have 4 that have taken 2 meals and 1 that just took their first meal 2 days ago. That was the one that I showed you, the X baby. Oh, by the way, we should get a snake. What snake do you guys want to see? Who should I get out? Put in the chat. I'm going to answer a question, then I'll look at the chat and see what you guys say. There are some snakes that aren't available, but we'll try to get whoever you want. Let's see. So Jake says, does the Lacey Act prevent the transfer of embryos or DNA? Aside from absurd cost right now, do you see technology like CRISPR enabling a solution for enhancing healthy genetic diversity in USA herpetoculture in the future? You know what, Jake? Let me just look up 9 of those words. Okay. So I don't know anything. I will say the Lacey Act, I don't know. I have not read the Lacey Act. I don't know if it prevents the transfer of embryos and DNA. CRISPR, what I found out, is a gene editing tool that uses a guide RNA and an enzyme to precisely cut and modify DNA. It's mostly being used in medical treatments and agriculture right now. I would say for something like that, yeah, it's probably in the future could be used by herpetoculture, but way in the distant future. Like we're talking about modifying stuff and doing that to animals. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff to think about when you're literally trying to genetically modify animals. So yeah, probably. Should it be in the future? No, I don't think so, but I bet it will be at some point. Yeah, sorry, none of that is stuff that I knew anything about, but I did look up CRISPR so I could see what that was all about. I didn't write down what that stands for. It stands for something, and I should have written it down. All right. Here we go. Chris says, I remember you having Kata at a red carpet event with WWE's Zelina Vega, which is awesome, by the way. Some photos have also been shown with Zelina Vega and Alistair/Malachi Black, and there was a familiar looking white snake. Was that also Kata? Yeah, when that came out, I don't watch WWE, so I was out of the loop. But as soon as that episode came out, I got several messages from people saying, hey, Zelina Vega was with Kata again. And so I texted Thea, Thea is Zelina Vega. I texted her and I was like, hey, what's the deal with the snake photo shoot? Did you use footage from the red carpet, or was that a different snake? It was a different snake. It was a friend of hers in Florida provided some snakes for a promo. I think it was a WWE promo thing with those two, and they had snakes. And I eventually saw it. One of the snakes did look just like Kata. It was a very big, black-eyed leucistic ball python. Cool snakes. She'll probably, next time she's in Los Angeles, these WWE wrestlers are constantly on tour. They have a route that they do throughout the United States, up into Canada, back. They're just constantly on tour. So next time she's in Los Angeles, she wants to come to the green room. So we'll do a video with Thea at some point. Hopefully she'll have some time. Okay, Liz says, what climbing opportunities can I add to my young ball python's PVC enclosures without making it permanent? I already have large branches, snake plants, cork rounds, but I'm curious about other options. Yeah, you know, you can get creative. There's, first of all, having shelving in there is really good. Black Box Cages has removable shelves. I don't know how big your juvenile snake's cage is, but anything that acts as a shelf can be a shelf. So I like to go into these stores that sell cheap, um I call it junk, but it's cheap stuff that you do. I have, oh no, I just put it away. um Cheap stuff that's like decoration for your home that has no purpose at all, but it's like decoration. So I'm talking about like Home Goods or Hobby Lobby, these kind of stores. I think Ross Dress for Less usually has a section of like home stuff that's just junk that you would, and they sell, there's a whole aisle of candles also. Um, and don't get candles. It's not good for your snake's lungs. That's why. But look at that kind of stuff, because I actually, that stuff is very useful for me because I buy it for the snakes to climb on. And you can find really cool things where you're like, oh, that's like a snake jungle gym right there. So yeah, look in those stores for stuff. And shelving is always good. And shelving can be like a hide. You could have a hide that's too big for your snake, and they can use it as a hide if they want to, but they can also use it to crawl up on top of. We did that with Brandon, my son, when I went to Cincinnati to set up Brandon's snake. I gave him a couple hides that were way too big for that snake, but the purpose was to give an extra height to climb on. Brian, thanks for the super chat. Looking for a super smooth, tasty whiskey. Okay, I got a number of those. Usually when people say smooth, they're talking about they want something that doesn't hurt when it goes down. That's what smooth means to me. So, not what I'm drinking right now. For me, this doesn't hurt, but for someone that's not used to drinking whiskey, it probably would. Hang on. And you're saying just whiskey. So there are categories of whiskey, and the category that you should be looking at for the smoothest is Irish whiskey. So that's done in a copper still, and for some reason, I don't know the science behind it, but copper stills make a whiskey that's easier to drink. And if you know, I would say, like, if you want to go with something that's really inexpensive that you can just get at the grocery store, depending on where you live, Teeling makes a nice Irish whiskey that's easy to drink. If you are willing to spend $60-ish, depending on where you're at, Green Spot, I highly recommend. It's my favorite. It's great. So it's not super expensive, but it's definitely up there for, for a bottle of whiskey. $60 is, up there, but I think it's worth it. Green Spot's lovely. So those are my recommendations. I love doing whiskey tastings. We're gonna. Oh wait, hang on. I just lost my feed. Oh my gosh. But we're still live. Good. Okay. I just lost my feed. It's back now. I lost my feed from YouTube, and it made me think that my internet went down, which would be awful. It didn't, though. We're still live. We're still doing good. Anyway, the point is, I love doing whiskey tastings, and we did this one at the last Horde of Keepers herping event, and I want to do it each time because, not everybody drinks and not everybody wants to drink, and that's okay. But what I do is I say, look, for anyone who's interested in tasting some whiskey, we've got these bottles. And last time, the funny thing was, I bought 4 or 5 bottles for this whiskey tasting, but then 2 or 3 people brought bottles of whiskey for me as gifts when they showed up to the event, which was so nice. So we got to pop those open, and it was actually a big whiskey tasting. It was fun. As it turns out, there were a number of Horde of Keepers members who were totally willing to drink whiskey. So we had a good time. Okay, let's see. Liz, thanks for the super chat. Liz says, thank you. Great ideas. They are both 4x2x2 enclosures. Okay. Yeah. So order at least one shelf. Yeah. Order one shelf each, removable shelf from Black Box Cages. Okay. They're both 4x2x2 enclosures. So we've got lots of space to work with. Great. Yeah. So get a shelf in there. And then from there, you at least have that, which gives them another level, which gives them even more floor space, right? Because they got the floor space of the entire 4x2x2. And then the shelf doesn't take up any space on the floor when you set it there. You know, it's just the feet. So then you have floor space now at a higher level, which is great. Climbing stuff. Hang on, folks. This is just me forgetting to hit a button. It's not the same problem that we're dealing with the pausing. When the camera goes off, it's because I need to replace my camera. But I can fix it each time when that happens. Thanks again for being patient, you guys. I hate that I've spent so much time setting up this really cool technology, and then there's one thing about the program that I use to live stream that's causing me problems. When I have all this cool stuff, I can make typewriting noises. Come on, how cool is that? What's this one? Wait, what's this? I don't even know what this is. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I like that. Got some preloaded stuff in there. Okay. Let's get back to these questions. Let me make sure I haven't missed anything from anybody yet. Sam, thanks for the super chat. Let me know if you have a question to go along with that. Hang on, let me look and see if you asked anything. Hang on. Oh, Sam. No, Sam's super chat was just to tell everyone happy Thanksgiving. That's so nice. Thanks, Sam. That's very nice to do. I appreciate that. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for being in here and taking care of people. Sarah's our lovely moderator for today. We might have some other mods in. I'm not sure. But I just noticed that Sarah was here. Sarah had a question too that we're going to get to. We're going to talk about your trip. Sarah's going on a trip to the Dominican Republic next week. All right, but let me see if I can get through these. Where am I even? Oh, here we go. Ali says, how do you know when to size up and space out meals for your super dwarf retics? That's a great question. I would say when they are, I'm thinking of this spacing out the meals. Here's the thing. I would say that when they're taking small rats, you can start to, I would feed a super dwarf weekly until they're on small rats, I think. And for me, if I was doing it today with a brand new baby, I would probably feed them heavier. I definitely would feed them heavier than I did for Echo. Echo was my first one, and I fed her light. We've talked about this before. But I would feed them relatively big meals until they're on small rats. I would do that weekly, I think. And then I would start to space them out. However, I haven't done this since they were babies. So I would look into it more. Like, I'm not the guy to ask. Even though I have two that I've successfully raised, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'd probably check with Garrett before I did that, but I think that's what I would do. I would feed them similar to how I'm feeding Douglas right now. Douglas is getting large meals and he's growing quickly, but once he gets to a certain size, I'm going to taper it back. Once he gets onto small rats, I'm going to taper him back to where he's still getting large meals, but he's not getting fed weekly. So, by the way, he ate a jumbo mouse the other day he's on jumbo mice now, which is probably twice the thickness of his body. So that's another thing that we're going to talk about in this upcoming video where I talk about feeding, is that some species, different species are different. You would never feed a ball python something that's twice the thickness of their body. But when you have a snake that's super long, they still have the body mass, but it's just in length. So they still need enough food to cover that body mass that they have, and especially the energy that they're expending, because a lot of times these arboreal snakes have more energy and move around more than something like a ball python. So you give them a bigger lump in their belly, but we'll talk about that in that video. Oh, Fizzy, thanks for the super chat. Snake request reminder. Also, everyone hit the like button for the live stream. That's really nice. You guys, I asked for snake requests, and then Corey, thanks for the super chat also. Oh, and Corey was doing the same thing, meant to let him know that he doesn't have a snake. You're right, you guys. You know what? I'm so sorry that I forgot to look at your snake requests. After I said that I would, I didn't get back to that. My bad. I'm going to do an easy one, though. I'm going to show you Koa. He's right here. Here we go. I get to talking and I forget what's going on. So Koa's in his sky hide. All I did was slide this hide out. For those of you who were listening when I was, this is the type of hide. This is just the normal black hide. And you see how it has a lip on it? You can see that lip. That's what slides into the little track, the little 3D printed track. So here's Koa. So on feeding, Koa gets not as big. So Koa's the same age, basically, as Douglas, but he doesn't get fed as aggressively. But he also doesn't get fed lightly. You know, I give him a meal every 10 days, and I'm not trying to put a massive lump in his belly, but I'm just growing him a little bit slower than I am for a scrub python. And this is just based on, you know, he's my first Brettles python. Douglas is my first scrub python. And I just go based on people that I trust that have raised these snakes for a long time, what they think is a good feed schedule for that particular species. So they all get fed a little bit differently. I'm going to let Koa relax a little bit. And he spent a lot of time on the microphone the other day. So he might do that again. He likes to just sort of curl up and hang out on the mic. Okay, I see people asking for, I get it. I see people asking for pygmy pythons. They want to see Pip. You could also see Squeak if you want to see an even tinier pygmy python. Squeak is available. So we'll do that. We'll let this thing stop pausing, and we'll see what Koa. We'll hang out with Koa for a little bit, and then we'll get Pip. Sorry, guys. Thanks for the reminder. Zach, thanks for the super chat. I just got my first ball python. The breeder said she hasn't eaten in a week and a half, and today is 2 weeks. I tried to feed her, but she's very timid. Any advice? She's about 2 months old. Yeah, I mean, if the snake has eaten a handful of meals, that's okay to give them a little break as they settle in. I don't know when you got the snake, but give her a week. If she refused a meal, give her a week to settle in. Make sure she's got plenty of hides and security. You know, the breeder probably had her in a tub. You might have her in like a tank or a cage of some sort. That's a big change for these snakes. And so for a period of time, for the little ones, they're not thinking about food. They're thinking about their own safety. And so I'd give her 5 to 7 days before you try to offer again. And then also make sure that you're offering exactly what the breeder was feeding. So if the breeder was feeding live and you're trying to feed frozen thawed, that might not work for the first feeding. I would feed them a live mouse or a live rat, whatever they were getting before. You want to give them something that they recognize as food. So, okay. Amy, thanks for the super chat. Amy Olson says, what's your take on target training, and could it help in communicating to a nervous ball python that it's mealtime? Yeah, I mean, I have lots of videos on target training. I target train a lot of my snakes, including this one, who's very good at it. Koa knows his target real well. And so for ball python, I don't target train ball pythons. I have before, just as an experiment. I wanted to see how well they did. So I took my most food motivated snakes and target trained them, and they pick up on it real fast, just like any other snake. But so for a snake, you're saying communicating to a nervous ball python that it's mealtime. A nervous ball python, you know, if they're a nervous food motivated ball python, it'll work pretty well. But it might take a little bit longer if they're nervous, because you're going to introduce that target, which is a foreign object to them, and that they might be scared of it at first, you know. So, but give it a try. Ball pythons have no problem with target training. Target training for me is a thing that I do for snakes that will eventually be larger, and they'll probably be very food motivated. I mean, they are very food motivated. So I just want them to know that the only time they're getting fed is when they see that target. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to strike at me at times. I mean, Echo's a great example of that. She never gets fed without seeing that target first, but she always tries to eat something regardless, you know. So but I also, you know, like I've target trained Pip, because I don't care if she ever strikes at me. She never has, but I don't care if she does. She's so tiny, you know. But I target train her because I want to see what her brain is like. Does she have an efficient brain? She's got such a tiny head. How many brain cells can it fit? And as it turns out, she's one of my best target trained snakes. She sees her target immediately. She started responding to the target within seeing it 3 times with food, and she goes up to it right away and does her thing. It's great. I was talking to, what was this? I was talking to Lori Torini, but it was must have been for something that we were doing on a podcast or something, where we were talking about the fact that I think, you know, snakes pick up on target training very quickly, quicker than you would think. And I think it's because snakes are in the wild, they're not great at finding food. This is why their bodies are designed to go without food for a really long time, because they're looking for it. They're always looking for it, but they're not going to find it always. And they've got to, you know, if something runs by, they're not necessarily going to catch it. And then it might be another month before something else runs by, you know. So they have to learn. This is the other thing about them not just running on instinct. They have to learn things in their environment. And what happens is when they're able to catch a meal, they have to learn and remember everything that was going on surrounding how that meal was caught. Where were they? What time of day was it? What were the circumstances surrounding being successful with finding a meal? And I think that carries over to the target, where they see that green target, then they get a meal. They quickly learn that target happens when meal time happens, you know. And there's other things. When Echo and Stella see me from their cage, they see me walk into the room in the evening from the hallway. That's what happens right before they get fed. So if they're looking for a meal, as soon as they see me walk into the room from the hallway, even if I'm not feeding any snakes, I could just be wandering into the room, they're ready to eat. They're on it. Like they're giving me body posture that tells me that they think they're being fed, you know? So they know every little thing that happens before they are successful with getting a meal. And I think that's probably carries over to in the wild. I mean, it's just a guess because we don't know, but I like to speculate about what's going on in the wild, and I'm guessing that I'm right about that. I think that makes sense, you know. Okay, so we got that. All right, Amy, thanks for that super chat. You guys, this Smoke Trails whiskey is so good. The Scotch. If you're in a duty-free store in the airport, look for that Smoke Trails. If you like PD Scotch, but you can't find it anywhere but a duty-free store. It's only made for duty-free. Jam, thanks for the super chat. Did your retics spot lots of spin? Did your retics spend lots of time in their hides when they were young? Yeah. Mine can chill in his for literal days. I heard they weren't so into hides. Yeah, when they're young, absolutely. They're looking for a safe place, just like any snake. But as they get older, they get some size on them, they get more confident, and then not so much with the hides. But I shouldn't even say that. My retics are, when they're resting, they're in a hide resting usually. If they're digesting food, they'll sit out in the open on their shelf, but otherwise they would just prefer to be in a hide. Not because they're nervous snakes at all, but I think that's just, it's more comfortable. It's like having a blanket. It's like if you're taking a nap, even if you're not cold, you're going to put a blanket on sometimes, or a sheet. You'll have a sheet over you rather than just sleeping out in the open. I feel like that's how snakes are with hides sometimes. They don't think there's predators out there that they have to hide from, but it's just comforting to be in a hide, you know. That's what I think anyway. All right. What is the next question from Patreon? Are we on the next page? Oh, not quite. Almost there. Okay, Melissa says, can you do puzzle feeding with ball pythons and super dwarfs? If so, any examples or suggestions how? What about with colubrids? That's a great question, Melissa. I actually have tried it with, I've got it to, not puzzle feeding, but I once hid a frozen thawed meal in the inspector's cage and he grabbed it. This was a long time ago. I was just doing it as an experiment, but here's the issue. Puzzle feeders work really well for snakes who in the wild eat carrion. So black-headed pythons are a great example. If a black-headed python comes across roadkill in Australia, they will start eating it. If they come across a bird that just died, they'll eat it. Whereas ball pythons won't, reticulated pythons won't. If they come across an already dead animal, they're not going to eat it generally. So that's what puzzle feeders kind of rely on. That you're putting a dead animal in a, you know, like a little pinky mouse or something, fuzzy mouse in a feeder, and then you want the snake to figure out how to open that and then eat that thing. And generally ball pythons and retics won't do that. So that's why we have to heat up their meal and sometimes dance it around in front of them, you know. I mean, I never have to dance anything around in front of the retics. They just grab as soon as they possibly can. But so colubrids, if you have a colubrid that in the wild would eat a dead animal, then yes, they'll do well with a puzzle feeder. And they figured out real quick. My black-headed pythons figured out puzzle feeders real fast. They're too big now for the small prey items that I was putting in the cups. And I actually gave my puzzle feeder to Willie. He's using it now on one of his snakes. I can't remember which one. Oh, I think his indigo snake. He's experimenting with a puzzle feeder with. So yes to the colubrids. Let's see. Lost Cause, thanks for the super chat. What do you recommend for spot cleaning to avoid watermarks that won't come off when you missed your enclosure? I've run into the issue a lot recently. So you're talking about the glass. I use vinegar to clean the glass on my cages, and my guess is that I mean, I've had water spots. I don't spray. I don't mist my enclosures. And I usually tell people that it's much better to mix water into your substrate to humidify your enclosure rather than misting every day. But aside from that, if you have water spots on your cage doors, vinegar works pretty well. So get cleaning vinegar, you mix it. I think it's 50% water, and that works pretty well. Doesn't smell great in my opinion, but it works well and it's safe for the snakes rather than using Windex or something like that. Jam, thanks for another super chat. Weird question, but what substrate do you put on the shelves of your bioactive cage? The PVC seems out of place when I have soil below. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't have. Do I have any bioactives with? So, oh, I do. Handsome Dan has a bioactive cage. You can't see it because the lights are off. Handsome Dan has a bioactive cage with normal shelves, and they're just blank. I don't put anything on them. Dave does too. Dave has blank things, but so does. Oh, all these guys do. This whole stack of cages is bioactive, and everybody has just a flat shelf with nothing on it. I also have some other cages where the shelf is. These are the black box shelves. The shelf is flipped over, and the shelf has a back to it. So I have the open part of the flipped over shelf to the wall, and what that creates is a little bucket that I can fill with substrate. So I have a second level of substrate that's then making the shelf, and I can plant things in it. So you can do that too with that type of shelf if you get a black box shelf or something like it. That wasn't a weird question at all. Back to Cheng. Thanks for the super chat. I had rosy boas growing up and have always heard it's safer to feed frozen. Our ball python just graduated to frozen small rats. What's your opinion on live versus frozen feeding? Yes, I agree. It is safer to feed frozen thawed, for sure. You can run into all kinds of problems with live, and some people that feed live and don't like frozen thawed, they say that frozen thawed could have, that your snake could get something from a frozen thawed meal, stuff like that. That almost never happens. It happens about as often as when a snake gets something from a live meal. The thing about frozen thawed is those rodents are humanely euthanized, and they can't fight back, and they can't injure your snake. So it is, in my opinion, much better to feed frozen thawed. And really, I would prefer. I like rodents, and I would prefer them to be humanely euthanized rather than attacked and killed by a snake. So, and I don't. There are some people, probably not most of you that are watching right now, but there are some people who have a snake because they like to see it kill an animal, and I'm not into that at all. And I don't think those people should have snakes. I mean, maybe they should. Maybe they also like the snake for other reasons, but I don't like that. That's usually, my guess is that is young men between the ages of 12 and 18. Those wouldn't be men, but you know what I mean. And they just love to see a snake take something down. Not into that at all. So those are my opinions on that. Okay, let's, this is interesting that Koa just posted up on the mic like that. The other day, he curled himself all the way around it and just full on hugged it. I'm gonna put him back, and we'll get pygmy python. Which pygmy python would you like me to get? We have the option of Pip or Squeak. Pip is almost adult size, and Squeak is much smaller because he's only a few months old. Put in the comments who you'd like to see. And I promise I'll check those comments. I will follow through with that. Trying to make up for my lack of follow through on the last request for what you guys wanted to see. Okay. Koa is back. Pip, Squeak, Squeak, Pip, both. Squeak. Pip. We are literally neck and neck. That's so funny. All right. You're getting both. Here we go. Give me just a second. You guys are good at talking amongst yourselves in the chat. Okay, here's Squeak. I'm going to grab Pip real quick, but since I'm walking by, there's the tiny one. All right, Pip's over here. See if I can find her. There is a scenario where I might not be able to get her, depending on where she is today. So we'll see. Oh, I found her. She's been out a lot more lately, which is pretty cool. She's been very creative with her spots lately. Okay, hang on. I'm going to come back into the front of the camera to talk to you about this. Where's my, oh, plug back in. Okay. Pygmy Python time. So here we go. Pip and Squeak. You guys thought Pip was tiny, but then when you see Squeak next to her, she doesn't look so small. But the fact that she's dang near adult size, that's pretty tiny python. So for those who don't know, these are pygmy pythons. They are the smallest python in the world. They're from Australia, from a little region in Western Australia or Eastern. I don't know which direction. Like I'd be able to point at it on a map, but I don't know if that's west or east. But it's on the Perth side, but not near Perth. No, well north of where Perth is. So opposite Melbourne in Brisbane. Whatever that is. So anyway, little tiny, smallest species of python in the world. And at 150 to 180 grams max, that's about what a pygmy python gets to. That's about what a mainland reticulated python hatches out at, as far as a weight. So their adult size is the size of a hatchling of the largest species of python in the world, which I think is kind of funny. You guys are saying Western Australia, so there we go. Western Australia. That's the direction. Okay, let me answer a question or two. I'm not going to have these two out for too long, although it's good to have Squeak out for a little bit because he gets an adventure. Pip is kind of used to it. Both of these snakes are very confident animals. They're like, Pip always has been. I've seen Squeak strike a couple times just kind of at the air, but that's if I pick him up too fast and he doesn't know what's going on. He's been defensive a couple times, but has not struck at me. And if he did, I don't think he'd be able to even get his teeth into my skin. He's just so tiny. But what it tells me is that I have to be careful with him. Like, if I've seen him get afraid like that, I don't want him to get to the point where he feels like he has to strike, So it's just a learning experience. A little one. Let's get you so you're not gonna. There we go. Okay. Okay. Where are we at? Sarah, yeah, we can see Douglas. He's still working on a digestion, but he's a day into it. We can see him. We'll see how fat his belly is after 24 hours of digesting. Where are we? Oh, I got to flip a page. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, we're on Daniel's question. Oh, okay. So Daniel, I think, must live in Spokane because he's saying summer herping get together in Spokane or Coeur d'Alene area sometime. I think, if we can do a little Horde of Keepers get together in Spokane or Coeur d'Alene, that would be great. Herping is tough in that area. Unless you know of a spot, there's just not great herping on that side of the state. Unless you know of a spot that I don't know of. And I know that there's snakes out there. Like there's rattlesnakes and stuff. I just don't know where to go to actually find them. But we should do I'm up there enough that we should get together. We should do a little horde of keepers get together. I think there's a small handful of people in the horde. Okay, Corey said, oops, hang on. There we go. Sorry about that. Corey says, I know this isn't a snake thing, but I just found out about your acting career and watched the Spider movie. That's a movie called Big Ass Spider that I was in. What's your favorite part about acting or stand up when you did it? I still do it technically. There's just not a lot of work. I don't really do stand up anymore. I mean, I do these festival shows that are kind of stand up, but I'm in character and it's a different thing at these festivals. But I'm not doing just regular stand up comedy really anymore. And I definitely still do acting, although the work has been real slim pickings lately. The last actual work I got was like a year ago. I did a small part in a movie, but yeah, there's just not a ton of work lately. And I also don't work at it much. Like I have an agent that sends me out on auditions occasionally, but I'm too busy with this stuff that I'm not actively pursuing it, But technically I still do it. Like if I book a gig, I'm going to go and work on the gig, They just have been few and far between lately. So, okay. So that didn't answer the question. The question was, where is it? What was your favorite part about acting? I mean, I like it all. I like doing comedy. My favorite part about stand-up is being in front of an audience, telling jokes, making them laugh. I'm good at that. I think I don't like everything else around being a touring comic. And eventually it got to where it wasn't worth it to me to do that. But I do love doing stand-up. I love the comedy element. And acting, it's kind of the same thing. You're just doing it in front of a group of people. It's not always, I mean, I don't always get comedy roles, but you're still performing in front of a crew, basically. But I enjoy being on set and the excitement around that. The excitement on set a lot of times includes tons of boredom because it is kind of boring at times. But it's also a lot of fun. So I enjoy it. I've had good experiences on all my shoots. Hey, Pippers, you trying to climb on my hat? You can't get up on my hat. Like, you can check it out, but you're not big enough. Isn't it weird? It's weird to me that she's a python, but she will never be big enough to free roam. She'll never be big enough to where I can just let her be on my hat unsupervised. Like I'll let her crawl up there, but I'll keep a hand on her. They're just so tiny. I'm very fascinated by pygmy pythons, the size of these snakes. They're just tiny. All right. So Tanya. So here's the funny thing. Last time she posted something, I pronounced her name right. And then she sent me a message saying, thanks for pronouncing my name right the first time. And I was like, you're welcome, but I don't know how I have no idea how I pronounced it. I want to say Tania, Tania. And that's probably how I said it before. And so I think that's right, but I might be wrong now. I totally don't know. Anyway, Tania super chatted. Thanks for the super chat. And also has the next question on the sheet here. The super chat is come east for herping. Absolutely will. I do come to Florida. I do herp in Florida on a relatively regular basis. That's east, but I'll do more of that. Oh, hang on. I missed a super chat. Let's see. Trailer Wizard, thanks for your super chat. I got to it eventually. I hand fed my 6-month-old ball python 5-gram quail Reptilink 1 a week. I hand feed my 6-month ball python 5-gram quail. So 6 months old. So, I mean, I have so many questions about this, but you won't be able to answer them. I hope you're feeding a normal food item also, because a 5-gram quail reptilink is super tiny for a snake that's 6 months old. So I hope you're feeding a regular, like a, they would probably, if you're feeding normal prey items, that snake at 6 months would be eating, I would say at least a weaned rat, probably once a week or something like that. The quail would be just a little bit of a different protein and vitamin thing. And when you say hand feed, I don't know what that means. I hope that doesn't mean assist feed, like you're shoving it in their mouth. Don't do that. Because if you have a snake that knows how to eat already, you don't ever want to assist feed them. It could be very stressful for the snake. But that may not be what you mean by hand feed. So I have a lot of questions about that. Thanks for the super chat. I have so many questions. Maybe you can answer, but I don't know that I'm going to see the answer until tomorrow. Corey, no worries at all. Corey super chatted. I meant no offense, just worded the question badly. No worries at all. That's when you look at my IMDb, the last thing that I did on the list of shows and stuff was a year ago. So I haven't done it in a long time. Like, I auditioned for things, but I haven't actually gotten the work in a long time. That didn't, the way you worded that didn't offend me at all. Somebody did say something. It also didn't offend me, but it should have. Somebody posted something in a comment a few weeks ago that said something like, "Too bad your acting career didn't pan out better. You could have been in some cool movies," or something like that. Like, I was like, okay. But it does seem like I don't do that anymore, because what you guys see from me is this. You see me doing this stuff. But if a gig came along, I definitely would take it. I definitely would still do a movie or a TV show if it came up. It's just real few and far between right now. So, and it may stay like that. I don't know. It used to be that production of movies and TV shows all happened here. This is where you had to be. Now they're spread way out. They're all over the place. And so there's less work. The audition process is very different since COVID. That's problematic. But anyway, the point is, I was not offended, Corey, but I appreciate the super chat. Okay, so Tanya, it is Tanya, not Tania. Okay, it is Tanya. So I must have said Tanya the first time, and you were like, "Thanks for being smart and knowing how to pronounce it." And I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, I didn't know how to pronounce it. I just took a stab at it, and I have no idea what I said. All right, Tanya, I will remember that now. I hope. Now that I said that I'll remember it, watch me forget. Okay. I'm putting at least one of these snakes back. Let me see if I can show you these guys. They're going to blur if I get close to the camera, but so you're not going to be able to see a good close up of their cute faces, but I want to just show you the size difference here. There we go. That's a great example of the difference in size of these two snakes. I would say my guess is that in 2 years he'll be ready to breed. She'll be ready to breed next year, but we'll give him 2 years, and then I should be able to pair them up and hopefully have little tiny babies. So, the Prius God says, "Should I get a super dwarf as my first snake?" Put in the comments or put in the chat if you guys think Prius God should get a super dwarf as his first snake. Hang on. I'm going to answer that question while I'm putting them back. I would say my thought is this. If you're asking the question, then not yet. But that still doesn't mean that you shouldn't. It's just that if you're getting a super dwarf as your first snake, you should know so much about super dwarfs and be so confident in your handling of them that you don't even question it. You just go, it's going to be my first snake. I've done so much research. It's totally fine. So as soon as you're confident that you should get it as your first snake, then you should. All right, hang on. I got to put this guy back. So many of you have seen the little jewelry box that Pip likes to hide in. She doesn't hide in it as much anymore as she used to, but she has this little jewelry box that she can still fit herself in. She has to squeeze herself pretty tight to get in there, but she can still fit and it still sits in there. Squeak has an even smaller jewelry box, but it's a box that guitar picks came in. It's a little tiny guitar pick box. So he has regular hides, like round hides that are about this big, that are just palatial for him. He has 2 of them, but inside those hides are each side of a guitar pick box that I've got a little notch in. It's just super tiny that fits him perfectly. It's great. So he has hides within hides, because they don't make a hide small enough. And by the way, black box cages, when I got Pip for the first time, she was about the size of Squeak, and Clint at Black Box made a special hide just for Pip. They don't, he doesn't sell them, but it was a hide, like a box hide with the Black Box logo on it, which is great. And I've kept it in her cage the whole time, but she's just now big enough to use it. So it was still a little tiny hide, but it was way too big for her until now. And now she uses it, which is pretty funny. Okay. Caleb, thanks for the super chat. Do you have a question to go with it? Hold on, I'm going to look to see if, because you put that super chat a little bit ago. Let me know if you have a question. I'll try to find it. Yeah, it doesn't look like any question came through yet. I'll try to look. Okay. All right. So let me get to a Patreon question, and then we'll get another snake out. Was there another request for a snake that I'm not remembering? Let me know if there was. I'll look. Okay. Okay, so Tanya says, can I put my baby ball python in a playpen with my adult ball python? Also, do I need to remove the ball python scent before I put my king snake in that playpen? So, it's probably safe to put your 2 ball pythons together. I don't do that though. I let my adults free roam anyway. I don't usually put them in a playpen, but I keep it to the same size snakes usually. But it probably would be safe. I just think, it's probably better to have a setup in your playpen where you have a whole bunch of junk in there and put the baby in and let it cruise all over the junk, and then put your adult in with a little bit less junk, so there's more room for the snake. You might just decorate your playpen a little bit differently based on the size of the snake. And then the scent, I don't know. I mean, king snakes eat other snakes, and so it would be interesting. I always, in between snakes or after I do a session in the playpen, I always wipe the whole thing out with chlorhexidine anyway. But if you don't do that, I don't know how your king snake would react. I'll say that my snake eaters, the black-headed pythons, don't seem to react at all when they come across an area that a ball python has been in. But I don't know how a king snake would react. So that's interesting. Let me know. Let me know if you try it. Okay. Let me look. Oh, Douglas. We were talking about Douglas. That's right. That's right. Okay, Sarah, you're saying that there's a question. All right, hang on. Caleb. Here we go. I got it. Okay, thanks. Thanks, you guys. Okay, we're going to get Douglas. I'm going to get to Caleb's question right now, though. I have a female ball python I just acquired. I don't know much history on her. She is approximately 36 inches and 1,035 grams. She seems small for her age, or am I wrong? No, that's fine. 1,000 grams. I don't know the age, though. You didn't put the age. But you know, a snake that's over 1,000 grams is fine. I don't know. I can't picture what, 3 feet, 1,000 grams. That seems about right for, but it's not, we don't judge based on age, length, and weight. We judge based on body condition. So there are some good visual aids that you can look up that kind of show a drawing of the body type of a ball python, and most of those are fairly accurate, where you can sort of see what the body condition should be. And if your snake is underweight, if you're seeing a lot of spine on the top, you do see spine on a healthy snake. You will see the spine going down, but you don't want to see a ton of spine and ribs. That's a snake that's not been fed. But yeah, your snake's probably fine, I would say. But I don't know how old. Okay, now we're going to see what Douglas's situation is. Because he did eat a jumbo mouse 24 hours ago. So let's see where he's at in digesting that. My guess is, I haven't looked, but well, I can actually see right now. My guess was that he's right there on his cliff. And I can see that that's where he is. Okay. Oh yeah, he still has a big lump in his belly, you guys. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna try to do this real carefully. Hi, bud. You just hang out right there. Oh, you're doing good. You just stay right there. You don't even have to move, pal. You don't even have to move. I got you, no problem. So here is Douglas. And I don't know if I can give you an angle where you're going to be able to see the lump, but the lump is, what we're looking at is right here. And I don't have good enough light on him right now. Hang on. So well, you can't even see that. Hi, pal, buddy. This is the section right here of his body. I can see the lump because it's, oh, maybe if I flip him around. Oh, there you go. Right there. That's where that rodent is. I don't want him to start doing his normal shenanigans, though, because he is still doing a nice job on that, that digestion. And he's not quite there yet where I want him to be moving around a whole bunch. But we'll just say hi to him for a minute. Bud. We do a lot of this. He's, if I touch Stella's chin like this, she backs way up. She does not like her face touched at all. She's super just face shy. Stella is. And I've never been able to get her over that. Just if she feels anything touch her chin, she's out of there. Douglas, I move his head constantly. He's always tongue flicking on me. I'm always putting his head where I want it. He's just fun that way. But I don't want him going on an adventure all over me like he usually does because of this digestion. So let me put him back. We got to see him. That was fun. All right. You know, if I had strategized a little better, I would have waited to feed him so that we could hang out with him a little bit more. But next time. All right, let me get this thing back. See if I can do this very carefully. Doesn't get pinched. All right, perfect. Good placement here. There. These are, for those who don't know, these are Mag Naturals ledges. That's the company, Mag Naturals. It's all one word. They're not I'm not sponsored or anything. I just like them. And they have these ledges that are magnetized, and they're pretty sturdy when you put them on the glass, and they're kind of sturdy when you put them on PVC. So they're not going to hold a heavy snake on PVC, but they'll hold a tiny snake. And they're fun. They come in ledges, and there's little caves that you can put on the side of your cage, stuff like that. I like them a lot. So there goes Douglas. I'm glad we got to have a moment with him. I really like that snake, you guys. I'm a big fan of scrub pythons, and particularly that one. Okay, I'm just making sure that I haven't missed anybody's super chats. Azar is asking if we can see Harry Vanderspiegel. I would love to, but you know what? Here's an update. I put Harry and Asta together in a cage. I set up a cage. So I bought a cage at a US ARC auction that I didn't need at all. It just was the last item of the auction to bid on, and I hadn't bid on anything. So I got this cage. It's like a 40-gallon Exoterra thing, and it came with a whole bunch of stuff that I'll never use. It was like a all-in-one reptile kit that came with stuff that I would like. Some of the stuff I gave to a neighbor who has lizards, and some of the stuff I threw away, like reptile carpet. Like, why is that in there? Why would they include reptile carpet? Why do they even sell that anymore? Anyway, the point is, for those who don't know, reptile carpet is terrible. It used to be common. I kept a snake on it when I was in high school, but it breeds bacteria. It's terrible for substrate. It's the last thing you should use. Anyway, so reptile carpet should go the way of the heat rock, which they also still sell, which is crazy. But anyway, I had this cage, and when Garrett sent me Asta, you can cohab house snakes. And so this is the 40-gallon, and it's huge for both of them. And so I just put them in, I set it up, and I put them in it for the first time. I made it bioactive, so they got some plants in there. Put them in there for the first time like 4 days ago. So I just tried to feed them yesterday, and Harry ate, but Asta didn't. So I want to give them at least a week to get used to the new situation. I mean, the cage is totally new for them, and they're also not used to being in there with another snake. So, Mr. Ernest, thanks for the super chat. You missed Koa. Mr. Ernest is saying, did I miss the carpet? I'm assuming that you mean the carpet python, because if you just want to see my carpet, this is a great view of it right here. There's my carpeting. My guess is that you're talking about a snake, though. And I haven't shown Bella. I could pull Bella out. She's Bella has, so talking about sky hides, we were talking about sky hides earlier. Bella has a sky hide, but she has a large light cage in this cage. So a large sky hide doesn't fit. So only a small sky hide fits. And she's going to outgrow it pretty soon. Because, I mean, she fits nicely in it now, but it's not going to be long before she's out of this. And I think what I'm going to do is just change. Well, actually, I'm going to upgrade her to a larger cage. But what I might do is pull that light with the cage around it out of there, so that I have room for a larger sky hide for whatever snake I put in there next. But here's Bella. Here's a little carpet python action. I really like this snake too. She's real cool. She's going to be a big girl, I think. Although I'm not going to feed her aggressively, really. Like, I'm not trying to make her big, but carpet pythons, coastal carpet pythons have the ability to get fairly large. And she likes to eat food. She's excited about feeding day generally. Here, you know what, lady? You want to just look at this. This is perfect for you. There you go. Okay. This way she can feel like she's on her own thing and I'm not holding her, and I think she's probably more comfortable that way. Let me just double check the super chat situation. Oh, we got it with Mr. Ernest. Thanks for that super chat. Okay. Where are we? Oh, we're with Kathy Conway's question. I'm trying to figure out if I can adapt my glass front opening enclosure for my Brazilian rainbow boa as he gets a little older. What do you think of putting in moss sidewalls as a way of getting and keeping very high humidity? Any other ideas? I know tubs are better while he's little, but the sides always have condensation, and I never get to see him without bothering him. Yeah, I know that's a problem with, because you want to see, especially a rainbow boa, because they're so beautiful, and keeping them in tubs makes it easy, right? Because you got to have really high humidity for those snakes, and when they're babies, you've got to be on it. And if you're not, they, as I said earlier in the podcast or in the live stream, they will start to slowly die, and because they're real fragile when they're little babies. So a couple of things with this. Number one, as your snake gets older and you want to transition them into a bigger cage, you still have to keep their humidity up, but they're not going to die immediately if it goes down. Moss is hard to keep alive, so you might be thinking of not live moss, but then it could get mold on it, and if you have it attached to the side, it could be problematic. And really, maybe for you, moss is easy to keep alive. I've had a hard time with it though, so I wouldn't do that. I would just make sure that I'd probably put a mist king in there. I'd have a misting system in a cage for a Brazilian rainbow boa. If you have a truly tropical snake, I always tell people not to do a mister for a ball python. There's no reason for it. They're not tropical. But if you have a truly tropical snake, a mist system is appropriate for a snake like that. And you just have to make sure that you keep it clean. That you don't have bacteria in it. But I would probably do that, and I'd have a substrate that you could keep pretty moist. Not to the point where they're getting scale rot, but something where you could keep the humidity up pretty well with the substrate. Hi, lady. How you doing here? She's cool. I can't wait to see what her personality, and Koa also, both of their personalities are like as they get older and more confident. She's becoming a little bit more confident. Koa is too, but slower. Koa's on a slower pace for his confidence. Monica, thanks for the super chat, asking to see Lydia Dietz. Yeah, we could see Lydia Dietz. I could pull her out. In fact, I could pull her out right now while we have Bella, because Bella's not going anywhere. Let's do it. Let's see Lydia Dietz. Lydia is a snake that, depending on the season, is out a lot. And lately she's been out a lot. But the last few days, she hasn't. Hi, Mama. I check on her in the morning, and if she's out of her hide, I just leave her tub open. She comes out. She's got her favorite spot in the room. But she's been in a hide lately. I love her pattern. This is kind of, I mean, clowns have variable patterns, but Lydia has some really nice sort of, oops, hang on. Sorry. I should do that before the camera goes off. Clown ball pythons have some really nice sort of screaming ghost faces. And Lydia's got some great examples of that. Or they also look like kind of teddy bears singing. You could, if you don't want it to be a scary thing like a screaming ghost face, you could think of it as a singing teddy bear, like a teddy bear choir. That's kind of what those look like to me. So whatever you think. But her name is Lydia Dietz, and for those of you who are Beetlejuice fans, you know that little Lydia Dietz is obsessed with ghosts. And this pattern is why I named her Lydia Dietz. So we'll just hang out with her for a bit. All right, I'm plugged back in. Okay, Monica, good suggestion. Because I've been wanting to see Lydia anyway. I haven't seen her in a while because she's been in her hide. Oh, there she goes. You know what, Mama? You're gonna stay with me. We're gonna keep you on camera for a while. How about that? There we go. Okay. Where are we? Okay, Azara is asking, what do you think the snakes are most grateful for this year? Most of them are most grateful for food. They just, you know, they're just food crazy, including this one right here. And both of these are most grateful for food. I think many of them might be most grateful for the fact that I was on a trip for 10 days and so I wasn't bothering them. I wasn't sticking my face in there, picking them up, doing stuff. I think they're happy when they're not being bothered. I try not to bother my snakes, but you know. Yeah, those things. Okay, let's see. All right, so Sarah, our delightful moderator, who's in the chat, answering people's questions and helping out with things. Sarah is going to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic next week. Any recommendations of must-see or do while there? So I wasn't in Punta Cana. I didn't go that far over. That's on the very tip. If you're looking at a map, it's on the right side. What does that mean? South? East? I think, something like that. So I didn't go that far. So I don't know Punta Cana specifically, but I will say, number one, go check out some small towns, because a cool thing about the Dominican Republic is every little town that you go to, big town, little town, city, whatever, when you roll into it, they all have massive block letters announcing with the name of the town, but they're big, like I feel like they're 6 feet high, big thick block letters in cement or whatever it is that say what the town is, and every letter is decorated differently. Some artist has come in and done some mural on every letter, and they're different themes. Like there was one of the towns was Christmas themed, so I think they repaint them a lot, and that is just a taste of the art that you're going to see when you go through these towns. Murals everywhere, art everywhere. It's just music playing all the time. It's really cool. And music So much so that there was not a place in when we were deep in the forest, we were still faintly hearing music going on, especially on the weekend. People are blasting it loudly, um, which is okay. It's just like they're just having a good time. It's really cool. But the other thing I would say is go look for snakes. And we've already talked about this. I've put you in touch with Alfred, who will put you onto snakes. And I think you'll have a great time. Even if you go out with him for one day, tell him what you want to see. He'll bring you there. And really, if you're going for one day and whatever it is that you want to see, if that's super far away, you may not want to do that. You might want to ask him what you can find that's within a reasonable drive, But I think if I don't know if I'm guessing Dominican mountain boas are somewhere within a reasonable drive of there, and I think that's what you should go look for because you'll find all kinds of babies, and you'll probably find some big ones as well. They're cool to find, and they're tame. Like they act like these snakes. The Dominican mountain boas that we found acted no different than than Bella here. It's pretty crazy. Mr. Ernest, thanks for the super chat. Mr. Ernest says, wow, Bella is super cool. My jungle carpet, little over a year old, wants to explore when he's out and won't just sit still like that. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Bella always wants to explore too when she's in my hands. But if I put her on something, she'll relax for a little while. So you saw how long she sat on this microphone, and then eventually she started tongue flicking and moving. But your jungle carpet might be a little bit more bold than Bella. I think a lot of that, of her sitting there for a while, is deciding whether it's safe or not to move. And your jungle might be more confident than that, and just is like, yeah, I'll just go for it, But yeah, I like Miss Bella. Let's see if you can get a good shot. Oh yeah, this camera is good for getting more close-up shots of the snakes. Although I don't have good lighting on her with this camera. But look at that head stamp. How cool is her head stamp? Yeah, I like her a lot. Okay, so I'm making mental notes of what to do for the next live stream. One of the things, other than figuring out how to not record my live stream at the same time so this choppiness doesn't happen again, I need to set my cages to stay on later so they don't go off. Just, we're just going to improve the live stream each time, Okay, let's see where we're at. BizCat says, in situations where you offer a mice instead of one rat for a meal, how long do you wait for after the snake takes the first mouse to offer the second one? I wait till they get it down their neck and basically into their belly. But when a snake takes a small meal like that, so the ones that I'm feeding multiple mice to, each feeding are Tiger Lily and Lucille. And I think they know that they're getting another one after they eat their first one. So once they get it down their neck, they're looking for that next one and they're ready to strike at the next one. So that's what you do. You just want to wait till they're kind of finished. And by the way, if they still have a little tail sticking out of their mouth, they'll still take the next one. I just wait for them to at least get it down, So, but a lot of people ask this question and they think that like you have to wait till the next day to offer or whatever. But think of them in the wild. It's very common for pretty much any snake that has wandered into a situation where they have a bunch of little rodents running around, that they'll try to eat as many as they can. So they're going to do that quickly. And, they say that ball pythons will use their body to pin a rodent to the wall while they're eating another one. Then they'll turn around and grab this one. I don't know. Like I've never seen behavior like that, but I do see it with the black-headed pythons. They're always trying to pin with their body. If they think that my hand is a rodent, like they don't realize it's me, they think that it's food, they'll try to pin my hand to the side of the glass as they whip around, So it is something that snakes do in general, some species. But my whole point in saying that is that they will in the wild eat whenever they're ready, and it's one after the other. They're going to just try to pack in as many as they can get, So you can feed them like that, basically. Okay. So I'm going to put Bella back in her cage. There's a thing people say with carpet pythons, and I tend to agree with this, that you don't want to mess with them too much at night. They're very food motivated, and at night that's when they're really looking for food. And I think we got Bella right on the cusp. She hadn't come out of her hide yet. She usually wanders out once her light's off. She wanders out to start hunting. But I don't usually handle her when it's evening. Okay. So now we're down to Lydia Dietz. Maybe we'll grab somebody else too. Okay, let me check this and then we'll get back. We have a few more questions from Patreon left. Red Sonia says, why does my house snake nose me kind of like a cat? When a cat does it, he's just marking me. Is that what the snake's doing? No, I can say no. Whatever a cat does is completely different than what a snake does. So I don't know what you mean specifically by nosing, but I'm guessing like if you have the snake on your arm, they just kind of push their nose into you. If that's what you're talking about, that is just a snake looking for a spot that they can crawl into. So they don't really understand that your arm is part of you. They're looking for a place that they can sort of hide, duck into. If they found, if a snake was doing that with me and they found this sleeve, they'd go right in there. Or the crook of my arm right here, they'd sort of try to push into there. That's pretty common for snakes to do, especially if they're not used to being held. They're going to kind of try to find a spot to hide, and they do that with their nose. So that, I'm guessing that's what you mean by that. But it is common for snakes to do any kind of behavior, and then people sort of go, oh, I've seen a dog do something similar to that. Like the tongue flicking, the tongue flick on you. I hear kids do this all the time. Oh, the snake's giving me kisses, and that's okay if a kid says that, but adults should know that a snake uses their tongue to smell with, and they're picking up scent particles, and it has nothing to do with kisses, So, but it's pretty common to have a snake do something, and then you try to relate it to an animal that you know a little bit better, like you were raised with dogs or cats or whatever. But it's important to know that reptiles don't do anything like mammals do. So I would say that your snake is looking for a place to hide. Let's get this. I just realized that I cheers to the camera because I thought that we were on that camera. But look at, we're so dark in the room now. It must be 10 o'clock. It's not even 8 yet. Okay, here we go. H&K Creation says, what are you thankful for this year, Mr. Bob? I'm thankful that people enjoy this channel enough to watch the videos and subscribe to the channels. I'm floored that we're so close to 100,000. It's amazing to me that this channel has gotten that far. So I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful for my family, which I'm going to see over the holidays, the Christmas holiday this year. So many things to be thankful for. I'm thankful for good friends. So many things. Next question from H&K Creations. Would it be safe to give our ball python a Pinky or Fuzzy for Thanksgiving, even though she just had her regular meal a week ago? So When I saw this question, I asked further, what does the snake normally eat? Because I didn't know what size snake this is. This is a snake that eats small rats every 10 to 14 days. So this is like an adult snake. So I would say no for the pinky or fuzzy. I would never feed a ball python of any size a pinky or a fuzzy. It's just too small of a meal for them, but especially for a snake that's basically like an adult size snake, or at least probably getting there to adult size. But what you can do is just give them another meal. If they ate a week ago, it's okay to give them a meal 2 weeks in a row. You feed them normally every 10 to 14 days, give them an extra meal. It's totally fine, healthy to do. It's also healthy to skip a meal sometimes, Um, so just thaw out a small rat and give them a Thanksgiving small rat. I mean, I talked about this earlier. Did I talk about this? Maybe I only talked about this with Patreon earlier today. But I gave Echo and Stella got the biggest meals that they've ever gotten in their life this week. They both eat large rats now, which is crazy. So they got a large rat, and then the next day, I had 2 ball pythons refuse medium rats, and I had no other snakes to give them to. And Echo and Stella were just salivating at their door. Not really salivating, but you know what I mean. Like looking at me like, oh my gosh, give me that food. And I thought, they're a day into digesting this large rat. They can definitely fit a medium rat in there, and I might as well just give it to them. So I gave them a medium rat the next day. Now, would I feed them that on a regular basis? No, that would be horribly bad for them. But on the rare occasion, in the wild, there might be an abundance of food one day where they eat a massive meal, because they may not have another meal for a while. So for them, they're not going to eat again for another 3 to 4 weeks since I fed them that much food, So anyway, my point is, giving your snake who ate a week ago a small rat, giving them another small rat in 7 days, totally okay to do. Give them another small rat in 5 days, totally okay to do. That's no problem. Then they can just be on their regular feeding schedule from that day. That is all right to do. But the pinky or fuzzy, they may not even consider that food, because it's so small. Especially a pinky, because it doesn't have hair, Okay, Phil asks, because ball pythons don't have eyelids, is there any way to tell that they're sleeping, or is it impossible? So not only ball pythons, but every snake in the world does not have eyelids. And it does make it difficult to tell if they're actually sleeping or not. But one way you can tell is if it's a snake where you can see their pupils, which not all ball pythons. Sorry, there goes the pausing again, but you're at least hearing me during that. It'll probably happen a couple more times. I want to see if we can show you Lydia Dietz, because I can see her pupils. Don't know if you're going to be able to see it. She's got really nice pupils, though. And I don't think you're going to be able to tell, because that's how far I have to be to have her in the light. Anyway, sometimes you can see their pupils, and if they're just little tiny slits, they're probably sleeping. When they wake up, those slits open up a little bit. So that's one way to tell. Another way to tell is if they've just stopped moving and they're not tongue flicking, and it's not statuing. So if they're out and they might be a little bit nervous for a bit, they might be statuing. So they're staying still on purpose and not tongue flicking. But if they're in a comfortable, relaxed state, curled up, and there's no movement from them, no tongue flicking, good chance that they're sleeping, That's with ball pythons. There are other species where I would say they are either sleeping or in ambush position. So watch out. And again, you can tell the difference with their pupils. For instance, Echo, I can tell really well because she has huge round pupils when she's hunting, when she's in ambush position. And when she's sleeping, they're just little tiny slits. So that's an easy way for me to tell with her, but you can't always see your snake's pupils, depending on their morph and what color they are and such like that. So, okay, hang on. Corey, thanks for the super chat. Can we see Kata and Tiger Lily tonight? Yeah, we had Tiger Lily out in the beginning. I started off this live stream with her, but we could see Kata. Kata's real shy today. And I know that because I brought her out earlier today because she hasn't been out in a while. I've been opening her tub to come out. And she hasn't chosen to come out. So earlier today, I was like, okay, I'm just going to bring you out so that you can go do your thing. And she crawled down off of me right away and went directly under the couch and curled up to go to sleep. And so I was like, oh, okay, you don't want to be out. But let me see where she is. I'm gonna put Lydia back, and we'll see where she is. And maybe Tiger Lily is more apt to come out anyway. So let's just see what they're up to. If I'll say this, if Kata's in a hide, I don't want to pull her out of the hide because I just know that she's shy today. But if she's totally out, oh yeah, she's halfway in a hide. But she's right here. We'll just bring her out to hang out for a little bit. She's just been real shy lately and not in shed. She actually I think she recently shed, if I remember right. But she's a lovely lady. She's doing good. Okay. I think, we got two more questions, I think. Maybe three. Two more people asking questions. So Benny asks, hey, Bob, love the channel. I'm about to make the leap and get a carpet python, either a jungle or a bredli. What do you think are the main differences in temperament and handling compared to a ball python? Would you recommend getting a baby or a subadult? So your last question I'll answer first because that's the easiest one for me. I always like getting a baby because, you can raise them and they get to know you as they grow up. There's nothing wrong with getting a subadult or an adult, but I always think it's cool if you're trying to decide which one you should get. Hang on, we'll be back with normal movement in a moment. If you're trying to decide which one to get, I always suggest a baby. I think it's cool to raise a snake. And then, so you're saying a jungle or a bredli, and what are the main differences in temperament compared to a ball python? So there are big differences in temperament between those two, between a jungle and a bredli. So a bredli, I would say, is closer in temperament to a ball python. In temperament, not activity level. They're more active. They're going to be moving around more. But a bredli is never, you're almost never in danger of being bitten by that snake. I mean, I shouldn't say in danger because the bite isn't dangerous anyway. But they're just super calm, really great temperament. They're kind of a perfect pet snake. A jungle might be, to a lot of people, the prettiest snake you can have, natural snake you could get as far as the carpet python complex. Super pretty, but they are more touchy. You're more likely to get a food response bite and maybe more likely to get a defensive bite also. Although there are plenty of jungles that people raise up and never get bitten, and they're just fine. I'm pretty confident that if I had a jungle, and I probably will at some point, I could raise a jungle up that would never bite me, except maybe a food response bite, but of the carpet pythons, I would say that jungles, of all the carpet pythons, jungles might be the most likely to bite. They might have the worst temperament, if we're even though it's still not bad temperament. We're not talking about a snake that's unmanageable by any means. It's just, of the carpets, that might be at the bottom or the top of the heap, however you're stacking them up, as being the one that might be a little bit tougher to socialize at first. And bredli are definitely at the top of the heap as far as really good temperament, the reputation for just being sweet snakes. So that's what I'll say about that. The activity level, though, if we want to compare them to ball pythons, your activity level is going to be a lot more with both of those other snakes, with the carpet python complex. They're semi-arboreal. They move around more. They're going to, when you have them out, they're going to be moving around. You got to focus on them a little bit more because they're always going to be moving and doing stuff. Whereas a ball python, not this one that I have right here, but mini ball pythons will just curl up and, you don't have to pay much attention to them. But even Kata, who's kind of moving and trying to get away and stuff, I can still just kind of hang on to her like this and talk to you guys. And, they're just slow and super, super easy. Okay. I think we've done this without missing any super chats, you guys. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, look at Kata. Kata does not want me holding her right now, and she's doing so well. All right, last Patreon question. Doesn't mean we're at the end of the live stream, but maybe we are. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what you guys have to say there. We'll end it whenever we feel like it's a good natural time to end it. Okay, last question came in last minute. Allison asked very recently. Allison asked, just watched the video from the Dominican Republic. Could you explain the difference between a morph and a color phase? Yeah, so we in that video we talked about this snake that I found. I was really proud of myself for finding that is a color phase that has not been seen before in Dominican mountain boas. So we were talking, we mentioned that it could be a new morph, and Alfred, who's the biologist that we were with, mentioned that it's definitely a color phase. So we're basically talking about the same thing, but there's a slight difference. A morph is a gene that we find in, let's say, ball pythons that changes the color and pattern, and we give it a name and we go, this is a gene that this snake has. It could pass it on to its offspring. You're probably not going to find it in the wild at all or very much, right? When we talk about a color phase, that's usually a phase of snake. That's a color phase of a certain type of animal, a snake or whatever, that is common to find in a certain locality or within other, maybe it's the same locality, but it's just a different color phase. So Dominican red mountain boas, that's a phase. We see reds all over the place. It's not just a morph that, even though genetically it is, you breed a red to a red, you get a red. I think that's how it works in those. But a really good example of this is in lace monitors. So lace monitors are probably my favorite monitor from Australia. And you have a lace monitor, which is a regular sort of brownish, yellowish monitor that's really awesome. And then you have what's called the Bell's phase lace monitor. And Bell's phase is a color phase. It's basically pied. They're black and white, splotched black and white. They look like a piebald monitor. And it's a phase because you find them commonly in the wild. They're either Bell's phase or they're normal, just like the Dominican reds, either red phase or normal. And this blackish one, this one that had way more black, Alfred was saying is a color phase. Although we don't know how, I mean, it's the only one that has been found as far as I know in the wild. So we don't know if there's a population of them, or maybe it's just a gene that does it. So Alfred's going to pair that snake up with some reds and see what happens, see what the babies look like. It'll be interesting to find out. But I think somebody might be able to correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I think that the term morph and color phase it's just a difference in terminology, and it has to do with whether we find them commonly in the wild or not. So that's that. Okay, let me see if I missed any. Are there any other snakes that you guys want to see? Or any I can see if I can answer a few. Oh, excuse me. We're not going to go much longer because tomorrow's Thanksgiving, you guys, and you all have so much food to prepare. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't know how you're going to get it all done. You've been sitting here watching this live stream and not even preparing food. I don't know how you're going to do it. What I'm going to do is grab a bottle of whiskey and head over to Willie and Tara's house where there will be food already prepared. And my contribution will be a bottle of whiskey. Or maybe I'll get wine because I think more people probably drink wine. Whoops, hang on. I'm still here. There we go. All right. I think more people probably drink wine than whiskey. When you're just going to a general party, you know, that a lot of people will be at. Not many of those people are straight whiskey drinkers, I don't think. A typical girl is asking, how is the jumping spider? That's Carol. Oh, I have 2 jumping spiders right now. I don't own 2 jumping spiders, but I have Carol who's right up there and she's doing great. She's doing great. And then I have this one who's right here. So my friend Patrick came over yesterday. No, 2 days ago now. He came over to hang out. I hadn't seen him in a while and he was like, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm home." So he comes over with this. And he's like, "Hey, I want to show you my jumping spider that I have." And so this spider, oh, let me do the other camera. This spider is wild caught. He found it in the house. And so he got a little cage for it and can see it down there in the corner, the lower left-hand corner in its little sling. But it's I think it's called a California red. I wish you could see it better, but it has a red back. Anyway, the point is, he brought it over. He was like, I want you to see my jumping spider. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, Patrick, I have a jumping spider too." And I showed him mine. And as he was leaving, he goes, "Hey, I'm going out of town for a week. Do you want to just watch my jumping spider and I'll come get it when I come back?" He goes, "You want to just spray it off spray the cage each day and like feed it if it needs to eat?" And I go, "Yeah, no problem. I'll watch your jumping spider." So I am spider sitting right now. And I think it's cool that, he found that in his house and he and his wife are kind of afraid of spiders and they could have crushed it, but instead they made it a home and are now caring for it. And his kids enjoy it as a pet. So that's that. Carol is doing very well. That's the only cage that's still lit up because I have to turn that off myself. She's right up there sitting in her home. She's well fed and doing good. Katie, thanks for the super chat. Apparently George is tired of rats. He just took 2 extra large mice. Thanks for the suggestion. There you go. Good. I'm glad. This was for those of you who weren't here the whole time. Katie was saying that her boa, Gorgeous George, was not taking meals. And I was like, that could be bad if a boa is not taking meals, but you might want to try feeding it something else because sometimes they get a little picky. So that's great. I'm glad to hear that he's fine then. He just was being picky, which boas aren't usually picky, but sometimes that happens. Sometimes they'll decide that they don't want to eat something. And so it's good to vary their diet too. I mean, I give Handsome Dan, I don't usually give him mice, but I have given him mice in the past. But rats, quail, chicks, he's at the size now where he doesn't really eat chicks much anymore. But he does get a lot of birds. He gets a lot of quail and reptilinks. If I can get him to eat them, he doesn't always take them though. I have other snakes that readily take reptilinks, and Handsome Dan is like, I'm not sure if that's food each time. So that's that. All right. I'm going to put Kata back. I think she's done well for being a snake who just doesn't want to be out lately, the last few days. So we'll put her back. Put in the comments if there's anybody else that you're dying to see before we end the live stream. And I will check those comments in just a moment as Kata heads back into her little den. Hi, I'm back. Let me do this. Hi, I'm back. There we go. That camera. I love having a good multiple camera. You know, I've had multiple camera situation before, but the other program that I was using was real sketchy as to whether it was going to work. You know, a lot of times I would try to switch to the other camera and it was tricky to do. And the camera would shut off a lot of times, where I'd have to unplug it and plug it back in. And this is great. It's just a button. Look at that right there. And then I'm right here. Isn't that nice? Amy Olson, thanks for the super chat. I have a male ball python who isn't taking his normal rats or mice. Should I try something else? If you're in an area where you can get African soft furs, you could try that. I don't know how long your snake's been off food. If it's just been a couple of weeks, I wouldn't worry about it too much, you know, but ASFs are a great choice if you're somewhere not California where they're illegal, you know, because ball pythons go for them readily. They are not, as many of us have learned in the last several years, they're not a rodent that runs around West Africa like we used to think. It's not their normal prey in the wild, but the fact is that there's something about their scent that triggers a feeding response. Nikki, thanks for the super chat. Let me know if you have a question to go along with it. I will look for that. Monica's asking for Stella or Echo. That would be a dangerous move to try to get them out this time of night when their lights are off. I mean, Stella would be less tricky, but still, man, if that cage is open, she feels like she's getting fed. So next time we'll do Echo and Stella next time. Oh, Freya. Yeah, we could pull Freya out. I haven't, you know, you guys haven't seen Freya in a long time, like in a live stream, just because she's been being a mama, and she's finally laid eggs and she's taking plenty of food. She's gaining her weight back. So Freya actually is also a snake who hasn't free roamed in a long time. So she'll be back to that pretty soon. Here's this mama. We love Freya. I haven't had her out much. I've just kind of left her alone since maternally incubating those babies. She's been doing really well at eating. She ate, I think, after those babies hatched. I mean, after I pulled the babies from her, I gave her a new tub, you know, and gave her all new substrate and everything. And I think I fed her that same night. She took a meal. She was ready to go. And I did offer her a small rat a couple times while she was maternally incubating. Sometimes there are some ball pythons that will take a meal while they're on eggs. I didn't think she would take it, but I thought, I'll give it a shot. The tricky thing is when you're offering a snake food when they're on eggs is you don't want them defecating on the eggs. But for Freya, I knew that if I gave her a small rat, it wouldn't cause her to poop. Like, you know, if she wanted to eat a small rat, she could eat it and she wouldn't be pushing out a poop onto those eggs, you know. It would just be a little snack for her if she wanted it, but she didn't take it until the babies were gone, and then she was ready to eat. So let me see if I'm looking to see if Nikki had a question. I don't see anything. Hang on, there's another super chat, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. Back to Chang. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate you. Last question. Is the reptile breeding community seeing similar pushback in social media markets like cat and dog breeders. I know Facebook, etc., deletes listings for kittens, puppies for sale. Yeah, just for sale, animals for sale in general. You don't want to do that on Facebook, which I think is a good thing. You know, I think it's good that we don't have just random people selling animals all over social media of any kind. You know, it's easy to have a Morph Market account, or actually, I just saw that kingsnake.com has just been sold. Kingsnake.com was the place before Morph Market. That was the place that everybody went online for reptiles and for reptile information and message boards and classified ads, all that kind of stuff. And somebody just bought kingsnake.com and has started it up again. And I think that's going to be a cool place to go for all kinds of stuff, old style message boards, if you're into that. And their classifieds were very robust. And my guess is that they will be again, so those are good places to find reptiles for sale. But I think, if anybody could just post reptiles for sale on Facebook, that's when you're getting the 15-year-old kid who's like, yeah, I'm going to sneak some money out of my mom's purse and go get a ball python, that kind of stuff that I think is not the most responsible way to sell animals, So that's a long way of saying, yes, definitely there is pushback for the sale of any kind of animal on social media. I think that's a good thing. Sandra's asking for Dan, and I agree with you, Sandra. However, Dan, for some reason, he's not in shed right now, but he's been in his hide for like the last 2 or 3 days, which is not like him. And usually he's out. In fact, he's completely out of the cage almost every day. So I'm not sure. He's just not being social. Let's see. Monica's asking what Morph Freya is. By the way, I'm seeing a lot of these comments. I am going to go through and I will read all the comments tomorrow. But I'm just trying to quickly go through some of these. Freya is what you're seeing is calico. So she's a couple other morphs. She's Orange Dream, believe it or not. She makes beautiful Orange Dream babies, but you would never know it by looking at her. Like there's not an orange scale on her body, but she is Orange Dream. Which is weird, obviously my guess is that she was probably quite orange when she was younger. I didn't have her as a baby. I bought her as an adult. Hang on, I'll move again. There we go. But she probably had some orange on her when she was younger and that faded away. But she's Orange Dream, Calico, Extreme Gene. And Extreme Gene, I always say, is the most subtle of genes. It's very ironically named. But I have some nice Extreme Gene babies in this clutch that I can look at and go, oh, that's Extreme Gene. Because I've always said it's hard. It's just hard to figure out what it is, but those are her morphs. But the big one is she's a beautiful calico. And she makes some very lovely high orange dreams. I mean, Tiger Lily is, those of you who know Tiger Lily, she's a lovely calico, but she's also super bright orange dream. That's from this mama. So it's interesting that a very low expression Orange Dream can produce high expressions orange dreams. Not there is a high, what do they call it? It's like a high expression Orange Dream from Aussie Boyd's that is a different line of Orange Dream. And I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying that some of these orange babies that come out are super orange, which is cool. Nikki, thanks for the super chat. And this is very sweet. Nikki's saying, you're my mentor and I love your channel. That's so nice. I appreciate that, Nikki. I'm glad that you enjoy the channel and enjoy the information on it. That's very sweet. Okay. I think so you guys, I would say that we're probably at the end of this live stream. We're at 3 hours and 15 minutes in. I appreciate you guys sticking with me, especially those of you who've been here the whole time and had to stick through the crazy choppiness of the video. I will have that fixed by the next live stream. And it won't be long before the 24-hour live stream. So that actually might be the next one, because we're only, like I said, we're only like 500 subs away from 100,000. And then there will be a Saturday where we do a full 24 hours of live stream. So that's coming up soon. I hope those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, those of you who are here in the United States, I hope you have a great one tomorrow. And regardless, I hope everyone has a great day tomorrow, whether you're celebrating Thanksgiving or not. Thanks for being with me. You guys are great. I will see you next time. All right. Bye, everybody.